Hello and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we are going to be taking a look at what your person wished they had said to you the last time that you saw them. This is intended to be somebody that you are no longer in contact with. It might be a romantic connection or a situationship or just somebody that, that you haven't spoken to in a while. So this is stuff that they wish they had told you the last time they saw you. This is also going to be the first reading that I do where we're going to be taking a look at some channeled messages. So that's exciting. And we'll see how that goes. I'm just kind of going with the flow today. And so please feel free to pause the video, pick whichever card is speaking the most to you, and let's get into today's reading. Hello Pile 1 and welcome to your reading. If you chose the shark, then this is going to be your reading for today. And we are asking your person's higher self what they wish they had told you the last time that they saw you. And we have some interesting messages here today. I am going to work under the assumption that this was a connection that might have been romantic, and it might have been a situation where it might not have been like a full relationship. It might have had the potential to become a relationship. So it could have been like a situationship, or it could have been there might have been like some romance going on, and it might not have really taken off. And what I'm seeing in the cards here is that it was this person's fault. And I think that they do have a lot of regrets about it. What's interesting about the shark card is it carries a message about being like a risk taker, but taking calculated risks. And I think the reason why that's a message associated with this card is that because sharks have bad eyesight, so they can't always rely on their eyes. They need to be able to trust their gut. They need to be able to trust their instinct, and that involves taking calculated risks. You know, they're following their gut to take a risk on something. And you know, and they're a predator, so you know it involves hunting for food a lot. So their survival kind of depends on being able to trust their instinct, to take a chance on the right thing at the right moment, if that makes sense. That's one of the messages of this card, and I thought it was interesting because the first card we have in your spread here is the High Priestess in reverse, which for me is talking about somebody who's not trusting their instincts. They're not following their instincts, right? Which is is it anathema? It's like counterintuitive to a shark's nature. You know, it goes against this person's nature to ignore their gut feelings and instincts like that. However, I think they were doing that in this instance for a reason. Like in fact, this whole spread is really it's talking to me about somebody who was really ignoring their true nature. Because the shark message is very counterintuitive to what I'm seeing in the cards here. So I will get into the cards. I also wanted to point out, I think it's very interesting, we have a lot of major arcana here. It's a 10-card spread, and we have like half of it is major arcana, and especially the first 4 cards here. These are clarifiers down here. Is telling me that this person just has like the important messages. Like I think this was an important turning point in this person's life, and what they're saying, what they wish they could have expressed to you at the time was that, and I think what they wish they could express to you now is that they realized they made the wrong choice. Now, at this point in time, they fully realize they made the wrong choice here. At the time, what they wish they could have told you is they didn't trust their gut. Because sorry, I'm trying to, there's multiple facets here. They didn't trust their gut. This card's being clarified by the 5 of Cups in reverse. This is giving me the sense that this person didn't trust their gut because they thought that this was not going to be the last time that they were going to have the opportunity to pursue something with you. And or they didn't think this was going to be the last time they were ever going to have this opportunity, and it might have become clear to them after the fact that they really missed out on something big by not trusting their gut when it came to the situation with you. And I think that this is probably related to not pursuing a relationship with you because of the next 2 cards here. We have the Lovers, And that's being clarified by the Ace of Pentacles. So this is, it's a pretty straightforward message here about, that the Lovers does have alternative messages than just like strictly like lovers, strictly a relationship card, but it can be talking about that. And the Ace of Pentacles is talking to me about choosing to invest in something, choosing to make a commitment, and usually a new commitment, committing to something new. It's the Ace, right? And, the fact that it's clarifying the Lovers is a pretty straightforward message about this person had the opportunity to make a choice to commit to something, to make a choice to invest in something. And it doesn't have to be talking about a romantic relationship, because the Lovers is at its core a card that just talks about choice. It's basically confirming you have the opportunity to walk down one path or to walk down a different path. And when this card comes up upright, it's usually talking about following your heart. So what I'm hearing here is this person, what they wish they had said to you was they realized that pursuing something with you would have been an opportunity for them to follow their heart into a commitment, if that makes sense. And I think this was something that their gut was telling them was the right choice. They knew it in their heart, they knew it in their gut, their intuition, and I will get into some interesting meanings of these cards, but this Judgment card is also in reverse. So this is telling me this person, not only were they ignoring their intuition, their gut feelings, any messages they might have been getting from spirit, it's just like their innate intuitive knowledge, they were also ignoring their better judgment. So they were also ignoring their intellectual brain, which was also telling them, like it was probably sending up like flags, like, hey, like, pay attention. This is big. This is a big opportunity. We don't want to miss out on this. And both these cards are in reverse. They were ignoring that. And so if there's something here that they want to express, it's that they knew. And it wasn't just that they knew on an internal level. It was they also knew on an intellectual level that you could have been a beautiful union if they had chosen to invest in your connection. And regardless of the Five of Cups reverse, they might have thought that they had more time. They might have thought they were going to get another chance. And they might have been, with the High Priestess in reverse, they might have known that wasn't the case and still lied to themselves about that. They might have wanted to believe that this wasn't going to be the last opportunity that they would have. And so I think they didn't move forward when they should have, because they were telling themselves that they would get another chance, even though they might have known intuitively that that wasn't the case, that this was their opportunity. And what's interesting is I'm talking about forward momentum. And that's a message here of like all of these four cards here. We have the World card, and the World usually talks about ending a cycle. It's like graduating from something, or when we've learned a tough lesson and we've been able to kind of implement the teachings of whatever it was, so that we can move forward into a new phase, a new cycle, where we're incorporating the knowledge we learned in the previous cycle. And life moves in cycles. We're always going through cycles, but this is like we're closing something out so that we can move forward into the next thing. And usually this is being encouraged by spirit, encouraged by, our spirit guides and our innate intuitive knowledge and possibly our intellectual knowledge. So this is telling me, I think this person saw a relationship with you, or pursuing a connection with you, or investing in their connection with you, making this choice that involved following their heart, whatever that means in this situation. They saw that as, and this is something that they knew. They were fully aware, even if they didn't want to admit or accept it, that pursuing something with you was going to help them in their personal growth, their spiritual growth. It was going to help them close out some cycle in their life and to move forward into the next cycle. And what's interesting is that's another message of the Shark card is about forward momentum. Because sharks move forward, right? And it's like that's another thing that's absolutely vital to a shark is forward momentum. And it goes against this person's nature not to move forward. And they still chose to do that. They chose to, and that's another message here, is choosing to stay in the status quo. This person was resisting this. The world, the opportunity to close out a cycle, the opportunity to move forward, to achieve some sort of personal growth here that would have been very beneficial to them. They were being held back by the fact that we have the Five of Pentacles here. What I'm seeing here is, and honestly, sorry, I forgot to mention it when I was talking about the Lovers card, this can also carry a message about acknowledging that when we choose to follow one path, we're not going down the other path. And, you know, despite what we could say, like, you can always choose to turn around. You know, if the path you chose is not working for you, you could choose to turn around and take the other path, you know. But I think this person had the fear that if they chose to commit to something, to one path, one course of action, and this, you know, in the context of this reading is probably if they chose to commit to pursuing something with you, if they chose to invest their time and energy into something with you, I think they were afraid that it was going to lock them out of something else. And what I'm getting is, I'm hearing it's stupid. And, you know, and I don't want to, that sounds really judgmental. I don't like saying things like that. But I'm thinking that this might be a message coming directly from this person. They're acknowledging it was stupid. It's a dumb fear. But the fact that this card is here is telling me for a Five of Pentacles to stand in the way of the world is like, this is a deeply ingrained fear. That's kind of like an intuitive reading here. The Five of Pentacles, it's like it's being shut out of something, loss, abandonment, and it's the idea that by moving forward, this person is going to be missing out on something. They're going to lose something. And that's, again, echoing the message of, you know, if we go down one path, we're choosing to not go down another path. And I think that this is something that was holding this person back. And their inner knowledge and their spirit guides and their better judgment were all telling them to go for it. You know, and these two cards here are definitely giving me the message, this person wanted to pursue something with you. This is all this energy is upright. I'm getting the sense that what happened here was not based on a distortion of how this person saw you, or the fact that they couldn't recognize that their feelings were real, or like anything that had to do with what you were doing or how you were behaving. You know, but the message this person wants to get across is all of these blockages were coming from them. Like this person is coming through in this reading to take responsibility for the fact that it was on them to embrace this energy of the World card, and they let their fear of missing, it's like FOMO, it's like fear of missing out, prevent them from having this beautiful union represented here on the Lovers card, and from following the path that was most in alignment with what their heart wanted. And then I did mention the Judgment card in reverse, you know, like a simple intuitive message whenever this card comes up reversed is this person was not trusting their judgment. You know, that's a pretty easy read for this card. However, it can also talk about when we know it's time to move forward and we're stubbornly staying in the status quo. And that's kind of why I'm bringing up like they knew it was time. They knew this was the perfect opportunity to achieve some sort of personal growth, some sort of forward momentum, close something out and commit to something new, right? And they did not want to do that. And with this card being clarified by the Empress in reverse, they're saying it was my control issues. Because the Empress in reverse talks about not going with the flow. You know, it's not letting things unfold naturally. It's not listening to our intuition. It's not following, you know, the path of our heart. I just heard like the path of least resistance would have been the path where you're following what your heart truly wants, right? And it can be difficult to change. It can be difficult to close out a cycle. It can be difficult to start a new phase, but it's also fun, exciting, and empowering to follow a path that our heart wants, even if it's difficult in the moment, if that makes sense. And so, it's this person, they just didn't want to accept what they knew to be true. And there's like a real stubborn energy here. And another message that's coming through is, this could also be fear of vulnerability. Because the Five of Pentacles, it does talk about a loss, abandonment, being shut out of something. It also talks about insecurity. And it can talk about financial insecurity. I don't necessarily think that's the case here. That's not really the context in which I'm reading this. But it does talk about insecurity. And it could be like legitimate insecurity based on stuff that has happened in the past. It's like, it would make sense, so maybe something happened in this person's past, created trauma, led them to have a deep-seated fear of insecurity and a deep-seated fear of vulnerability, which definitely would connect with the shark, because a shark is a predator. And for them to be in a vulnerable position is usually, for a shark, that's life-threatening. Right? They're predators, and that they have to be able to trust their gut. They have to be able to trust their judgment in order to survive. And at the same time, it makes sense that as a survival instinct, a shark would not ever want to be in a position where they feel vulnerable. And personal growth, choosing the path of following our heart, often requires vulnerability. And relationships of any type, in order to build intimacy with somebody, definitely requires vulnerability. And the appearance of this Empress in reverse here is telling me this person realizes that their inability to be vulnerable has prevented them from moving forward. And it was the wrong thing to do. That's definitely a strong message coming through. These cards, the reversals that we have here are telling me this person knows that it was the wrong thing to do, and they probably knew at the moment, in the moment, even though they didn't want to accept it or acknowledge it out loud, definitely not out loud. If we're talking about what this person in this current moment in time wishes that they had told you back then, it's that they knew they were making the wrong choice. And they still let their stubbornness and their fear hold them back. And then we have these two cards here. And this is a bit of an interesting message here. And I did ask my spirit guides for some clarity here. The Queen of Wands, when it's in reverse, can have multiple different meanings. Any court card can usually represent the energy of an individual. And so, in this reading, we could be talking about your energy, we could be talking about their energy, or we could be talking about the energy of a third party, or somebody else in this person's life. And when I asked my spirit guides, they confirmed that this Queen of Wands reverse is not representing your energy, which was something that I would understand. The rest of the spread that we have here, and then if we had a Queen of Wands that was supposed to represent your energy, wouldn't really make a ton of sense in the reading. And, I wasn't picking that up, based on this person's feelings and the fact that they knew that pursuing a relationship with you and committing to something with you and investing time and energy and their emotions, their vulnerability into something with you would have been following their heart, is telling me this person absolutely did not see you as a Queen of Wands reverse. That doesn't make sense. So, what I'm seeing is this probably represents somebody else in this person's life. I was kind of getting maybe an interpretation where this could represent this person's own energy. However, the fact that it's being clarified by the Seven of Swords in reverse and the basic nature of a Queen of Wands reverse, it would make sense if this is representing somebody else in this person's life. Again, we have this Five of Pentacles here, which can talk about, things that have happened in our life that have created insecurity, or a fear of vulnerability, fear of abandonment, fear of missing out. And a Queen of Wands reverse would be definitely, if this person had a Queen of Wands reverse in their life at some point, it would make sense that this person might have contributed to Five of Pentacles that might have prevented this person from moving forward in some way. The message here of this card being reversed and then being clarified by the Seven of Swords in reverse is this person can see through this person's BS. If that makes sense. So I'll get into it. A Queen of Wands reversed is usually somebody who is manipulative, egotistical, wants to be the center of attention, demand to be the center of attention. They might be somebody who might be very gossipy, very backstabby. That could definitely be, you know, we do have the Seven of Swords here. It is reversed, but, you know, this could have been a situation where this person, oh, you know, something that just came to me. Okay. This makes sense here. You might be fully aware of who this person is. Or you might have had a conversation with your person about a Queen of Wands reversed in their life, or about how they feel about people who behave this way. And this might be this person coming through to clarify that they do not see you as this person. It could be, you know, if you had an idea or you were asking like a doubt or a question, you might have been asking Spirit or asking for you know, some clarification, whether this person saw you as being manipulative, whether this person saw you as somebody who was gossipy or egotistical or using your social skills for bad reasons, or somebody who was, you know, talking behind their back, or who would have betrayed or backstabbed them. You know, if you were asking about a question about how this person saw you and you were worried that they might have seen you in that light as a Queen of Wands reversed, there's a message here, just only if this resonates for you, there's a message here that this person's coming through to say that they absolutely do not see you like that. They know that you're not, they know the truth. The Seven of Swords reverse is about knowing the truth. They know you're not like that. And if this is an opportunity, you know, if this person's saying, this is what I wished I had told pile one the last time I saw them, it would have been reassurance that they don't see you like that. And if you need to hear this, possibly reassurance that this was not your fault. That this is 100% on them and their own fears and their own ignorance, like ignoring what they knew to be true. And that they want to let you know that they realize, and they probably knew at the time, even if they didn't want to acknowledge it, even if they would have never said it out loud, they knew at the time that the responsibility was with them to choose to move forward with you, and they made the wrong choice. And they, again, like this could just be reassurance for you that they do not see you this way. And if that's not resonating with you, and you don't have any idea what I'm talking about, this, again, it could just be an interpretation that this person might have had a Queen of Wands reversed in their life, who might have been telling them lies about you. They might have wanted all of this shark person's attention for themselves, and they might have, you know, really influenced the way that this person saw you and the choices that they make. Like even with that interpretation, I want to reiterate, this person knew the truth. The Seven of Swords is reversed here. Like, even if this person was lying to them and was trying to manipulate them and was trying to get them to move away from you or to not move towards you, complete lack of forward momentum, you know, to just stay stuck in the status quo because they're so afraid to commit to something, you know, especially something that is in alignment with what their heart wants. You know, they might have chosen to listen to this person even knowing that they were being lied to. Like, again, it's just a lot of confirmation here. This person knew the truth of the situation. So that's what I'm seeing in the tarot cards for you. I am going to move on to the next part of the reading. We are going to be taking a look at some channeled messages, and I will be shuffling and pulling them live on camera. So here I have this romance oracle. These are romantic messages. So if this is not a romantic connection for you, you know, just take whatever resonates, whatever happens to come out. This is the romance oracle. These are both the decks by Alice at LoveExistsVisions. I did contemplate making my own channeled messages deck, and then I was like, you know what, I think other people have already done it, and they've probably done it better than I would have. So I wanted to give a shout out to Alice, and with that said, let us get some channeled messages for you. So what messages do you have for pile 1? What messages do you have for pile 1? Pile 1's person's higher self. Ooh. Okay, so we have you found out something about me. I hope you're not with someone else. And, you know, you found out something about me is interesting. If you're resonating with the idea that you know who this Queen of Wands reversed is, you could have become aware after the fact. This person might have chosen to pursue something with this person, or you might have become aware of this person's influence in the shark's thought process, or you know, there might have been something here that this you found out something about me might be referring to, or it could just be that, you know, what I was saying here is something that you already know. So I hope you're not with someone else. Is I think a pretty clear message that. I think this, you know, in this person's fear of committing to a path and perhaps closing themselves out from a different path, that it's like kind of a hypocritical message to be like they hope that you didn't find a different path away from them, you know, because they wanted to keep all their options open, you know, to everyone's detriment. You drive me crazy. I think this confirmation, this person's probably still thinking about you. Yeah, I am having wild thoughts about you. Definitely, you know, I think that whatever time and distance has passed between the two of you, this person definitely still thinks about you, and still, you know, probably thinks, I will say it, they probably have, you know, intimate thoughts about you. So I only believe in science and facts. That might be a confirmation this person is ignoring their gut feelings, even though they were also ignoring their higher judgment. You know, it could have been that this person might just be very like logical and intellectually based, and even though they, you know, their gut was telling them something, they might try to use logic as a way to lie to themselves, if that makes sense. I miss being around you. Pretty clear message, you know, with the you drive me crazy, I'm having wild thoughts about you. I think it's likely this person thinks about you a lot, and then they miss you. You know, I think they realize, especially this Five of Cups reverse, another message of this is, you know, if the Five of Cups reverse is talking about, you know, this person in a connection with the High Priestess reverse, this person might have thought they were going to get another chance, or they might have lied to themselves that they were going to get another chance. Another message here could be a reiteration that they realize now that they have lost whatever was in all 5 cups. There's a major loss that it was a result of them not following their gut in this situation, and they miss you. Oh, okay, and then we have, oh, this is sad. I am lost without you. And I just had a mental image of a, you know, sharks don't have great eyesight. You know, just a shark kind of wandering aimlessly through cloudy water. That might be how this person feels. You know, even though they fully acknowledge, you know, that this was their own doing. I can't take that many. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, this for me is another confirmation. Love doesn't feel like enough. Definitely confirmation for me that I think this person just wasn't ready to commit to moving forward with you because they were worried about missing out on something else. Like the love that they felt, the feelings that they felt for you, it was not that you were not enough. It was that this person might have been looking for something that they were afraid they wouldn't be able to find with you, if that makes sense. Like there was some sense of with the Five of Pentacles, there was some sense of stability or belonging, that it could have been this person didn't realize that they could have had that with you. Or that was going to be a part of a relationship with you that you were going to build over time. Right? It might have been that, you know, if this was like at the initial stages of something, they might have told themselves that it was just infatuation. It was just like the infatuation stages of love, and that you weren't going to be able to give them what they needed, being represented here by the Five of Pentacles, even though, you know, there's a message here with the world that that's something that they have to give to themselves. You know, like no relationship is going to heal all of our trauma. You know, that's our responsibility, right? But I think this might just be another confirmation that at the time they were not able or willing or ready to move forward with you, despite knowing that that was the right thing to do. And that's their own responsibility, and they were holding themselves back. So that is going to be your reading for today, pile 1. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did like it, please feel free to give the video a like. Please comment down below, let me know how this resonated for you. And if you'd like to see more from me, you can feel free to subscribe to my channel. And with that said, thank you very much for watching pile 1, and I do hope to see you in my next video. Hello pile 2, and welcome to your reading. If you chose the starfish, then this is going to be your reading for today. And today we are asking your person's higher self what they wish they had told you the last time they saw you. And I want to say a couple of things at the top of the reading. First of all, this person's energy and the vibe that I'm getting from this pile is very different from pile 1. I think that I'm going to try to say this as gently as I can. This person is coming through as somebody who may be very intellectual and might be very detached from their emotional side. This might be somebody who's also very literal, and they might not have a high emotion, like maybe not even like a high enough emotional IQ to really understand that even though they might not feel regret over whatever happened between the two of you, I'm getting the sense they do believe that they did the right thing. I'm not sure that they expressed to you why they did what they did in a way that was compassionate or empathetic to how you would feel in that situation. I'm not sure about that, because that's not necessarily an energy that I'm getting from this person. I'm also, there's a message with the starfish that's very connected with the Wheel of Fortune, and I think it's something that their higher self wants you to know, but it's also not necessarily the most compassionate message. So I wanted to say that, and I'm not, I don't think it's out of maliciousness. I don't think this person is a bad person. I don't think they're setting out to deliberately to hurt you now or in the past. I'm just not getting that vibe from the cards here. I just think it's like a capacity issue. I'm not sure how great they are at empathy. I'm not sure that that's something that comes naturally to this person. And again, it's not necessarily from like a place of narcissism so much as maybe this person just has a low emotional IQ. They might have trouble relating to the feelings of other people. And it could also be they have trauma and blockages there because they might not know how to process their own emotions, that they just don't necessarily have the capacity to even begin to understand other people's feelings. Or to like express compassion in that way. So I wanted to say that at the top of the reading. So I'm going to be giving some messages here from this person, but I don't, it's coming from a very particular type of person, and so I don't want you to necessarily internalize things that I'm seeing here as, as this person doesn't care about you, or they didn't understand that they might have hurt you, if they were the one who kind of broke your connection here, which I could see in the cards here, I'm going to try to express these messages as compassionately as I can. But again, I'm just getting this sense that this person might be very literal, very intellectual, very emotionally detached, and there is a bit of a message here from this person that they might have felt like they said everything that they wanted to say already, but there's a lot to be desired, I think, in the way that they delivered those messages. So I'll get into the cards. I wanted to say that at the top of the reading, your person is being represented here by the starfish. However, I think that this card might have been something that is like maybe less representative of this person's energy and more representative of the message that they want to give to you. Because this card I would associate a lot with the message of the Wheel of Fortune card. And again, I think these are here because this is something this person wants to say. This might have been, if there was something left unsaid, it might have been here. But again, it's not necessarily like the kindest thing to say to somebody. So I'll just get into it. One of the messages of the starfish, first of all, there is a message about good luck and good fortune. So this is a kind message. This is the kind part of the message. This could be this person's higher self coming through to let you know that everything is going to be okay. That they have faith that, that the wheel's going to keep turning, that, they might be coming through, their higher self might be coming through to reassure you that you will receive your divine blessings in divine timing. And, and this wheel is upright, which talks about good fortune, good luck. There are positive things that are coming your way. And the starfish, again, is like a symbol of good luck, good fortune. So I wanted to give that message as part of the message. The other part of it is a starfish, I think they can regrow their limbs. So there is a message associated with this card about like a starfish can survive anything. They can survive a lot of trauma and regenerate. It's like the trauma almost makes them stronger, or it helps them evolve. It helps them become more. It's like becoming a more authentic version of yourself because you had to regrow a limb, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm expressing that clearly, but there is a connection between the regenerative property of a starfish and the idea that we can use painful experiences in our lives as growth opportunities. And so the reason why I'm saying is that that's not necessarily the most compassionate message is there was an intuitive message that came through when I saw these two cards together that might be coming from this person about like they might not have, how do I want to put this? They might not have, they might have chosen to do something that was ultimately hurtful in your connection, whether they walked away from you or they decided. I mean, I am getting kind of that sense with the cards that we have here. They with this King of Swords here, they might not have been super compassionate with the way that they chose to end your connection, if that is something that happened for the two of you. And I just saw like a sword cutting off one of the starfish's legs with because the King of Swords, they're like, well, it's a starfish, it can just regrow its leg, with no recognition or acknowledgement of the fact of how painful it is to lose your limb. Does that make sense? It's like that's something that's coming through, is like this person was like, oh well, pile 2 will survive. Pile 2 is resilient, they're strong, they'll get through it. And yes, that might be true, but that's still really kind of like a cold way to think about it. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm saying like, I think that there might be a message here. It's like one of the reasons why this person, might not have apologized. They might not ever apologize, and they might not feel bad about whatever ended your connection or how they handled it, is because they I think they're just telling themselves like pile 2 can handle it. You know, they'll survive. And you know, and that's, again, it's not, you know, I feel a little bit uncomfortable expressing that, but that's kind of what I wanted to express. On a more kind or compassionate note, there could be a way to interpret this where we're saying, if this is a message coming from this person's higher self today, like they're coming through now to tell you stuff that they wish they had told you back then, you know, if the message is the Wheel of Fortune and the Starfish, is that I heard at the very least this is a growth opportunity. I'm trying to put a positive spin on it. I'm getting the vibe that this might be how this person thinks. So I do want to say, if none of this is resonating for you, and you're like, the person I was thinking about is not like that at all, then there might be messages for you in a different pile, because it's just there's a commonality to the messages in these cards that is being very related to, and it's like an intuitive thing that's coming through as I'm reading the cards. So if it is resonating for you, then I think it is important that I'm going to describe kind of the way that the cards came out. So I took these first 5 cards, and then I pulled clarifiers. And the way the cards came out is that these 5 cards came out, and then the Queen of Swords came out immediately, and then I was shuffling the cards for, you know, a solid 5 minutes, and no other clarifiers wanted to come out. And then I was looking at this King of Swords, and I heard in my head, well, I already said everything. There's nothing more to say. And I mean, I kept at it, and we did get clarifiers in this. So, and I will give those messages, but I think it's an important part of the message that this person might have thought that they you know, part of the message might be, you know, this person feels like they already said everything they wanted to say. But their higher self is coming through to recognize that might not be true. Like they might not have said everything that you needed them to say. They might not have said everything that you would have wanted to hear. And so, you know, and so we do have more cards here. But I just thought that it was an important part of the message. And that's kind of why I'm getting the sense that this King of Swords represents this person's energy. And, you know, there are some like interesting things going on there that I'll talk about in a second. Sorry, the other thing is that I'm mentioning that because we have this King of Swords that I believe represents this person's energy. And then we have the Queen of Swords, which is the counterpart to the King of Swords. And I'm getting a specific message with this being connected with the Wheel of Fortune. One of the messages of the Wheel of Fortune is that, you know, that life goes through cycles. And the wheel never stops turning. You know, things continue to change. People continue to move forward. And, you know, this card, it is usually associated with good luck. One of the things that an intuitive message, I'm being called to read a lot of these cards intuitively rather than the standard interpretation. So I'm just going to give that disclaimer off the top. But what I'm seeing here is this person might be looking for their counterpart, and they believe that their counterpart is somebody who is very similar to them. And it could be the case that you do not fit that bill. The connection between the two of you might have been more of like an opposites attract. You know, it could have been a situation where you know, maybe if this person is very intellectual and very rational, you know, like just not very emotionally connected, it could have been a situation where, you know, you kind of might have brought out emotions in them and brought them like more in touch with their emotional side. You know, and then if you are somebody who is very, very like emotionally connected, emotionally intelligent, this person might have brought you some groundedness, or might have, you know, helped you work things out logically in terms of problem solving in your life, if that makes sense, if that's resonating for somebody. Otherwise, you know, the basic message I'm getting of these two cards is this person is still looking for somebody who is very similar to them. And I think that they might have, like, there's a message in the cards here. This person, their feelings for you were real. What happened between you was nothing that you did wrong. But I think they have a good reason to want to avoid people who make them feel things. And so they're trying to find somebody who is as emotionally detached as they are. And, you know, the King of Swords, the Queen of Swords are not, they're upright here. They're not reversed, you know, but that there is a message, like both of these people, both of these figures on these cards are intellectual, like they don't make decisions based on emotion. You know, which it's not a bad thing. It's not a negative energy to be in. A King of Swords is not a negative energy to be in. I'm just like, this person's showing up here and they're like facing directly at the camera. And it's like saying like, I'm here. This is my authentic self. You know, this is who I'm like fully, but it's like, whereas a King of Swords can be somebody who is very mature and well, they can recognize and handle their own emotional side. They do tend to be more logically focused. You know, it could be that the King of Swords has a high emotional IQ as well, right? Even if they do tend to make decisions based on logic. I'm getting an intuitive message. This King of Swords is not like that. They are emotionally detached, and that's partly because of the clarifiers and other cards we have here. So I wanted to mention that kind of like the counterpart energy, and I don't think this Queen here is representing your energy. I think this is here as a message for, you know, if you need clarity, if you need clarification for why this person did not choose you, even though they might have given you a lot of indications, at least at the beginning, that they were very into you and that they had real genuine feelings for you. We do have confirmation of that here with the Page of Cups. I think their feelings were real. On paper, you might not have been what this person was looking for. Or on paper, you might have been exactly what this person was looking for. But the reality became too real once emotions and emotional vulnerability became involved. And so I think this person has decided they want to have a relationship that is not emotional. You know, well, that's their prerogative. You know, we can't force somebody to, you know, to make the decisions that we want them to make. We can't force them to go through their own personal growth, even if they're trying to tell you that, you know, at least whatever happened between you was an opportunity for growth. You know, it's honestly a little bit patronizing, but or condescending. It's a little bit condescending, but you know, it's just, again, we cannot force somebody to make the decisions that we wish they had made. I forgot another possible message of this Wheel of Fortune card. This might be their higher self taking the opportunity to let you know that you might have signed a soul contract with this person to react to each other. It could have been like a destined karmic connection, so that you could learn some sort of lesson from the connection here. Only take that if it resonates, but that could be another message of the Wheel of Fortune, is that it was like a destined or fated connection, even though you might not have been intended to end up together. You know, so, you know, if you've been asking like, well, why did this happen? You know, there could be a partial answer here, that because it was meant to happen, and it was meant to happen the way that it happened. So I wanted to throw that in there. Then we have the Ten of Pentacles. And this Ten of Pentacles being clarified by the Eight of Wands in reverse. And so the Ten of Pentacles is an interesting card in this spread. And it's interesting because I think it's also very important that we have the Ten of Pentacles and then the Four of Wands reversed. Because the Ten of Pentacles is usually a positive message. And this could be here saying this person might have thought or initially wanted or told you that they wanted to have a future with you. Ten of Pentacles talks about abundance. It talks about like financial abundance, financial stability. It can talk about emotional stability. You know, it's a great card. It's the most pentacles you can have, and it is also very associated with family, generational wealth, really investing in something, and then the investment paying off with more abundance than you could ever possibly have imagined. Like, it's, you know, we're not just creating wealth for ourselves and our family, we're creating wealth for future generations of our family. You know, it's that kind of message. So it's like the Ten of Pentacles is talking about like a solid solid, stable, very abundant future with somebody that might involve family. Again, it could be that this person might have initially been invested in that. This might have been part of what they are looking for, right? Or, you know, what they actually want, what their soul wants. And this, again, this could have been, I could understand this would be a very painful situation if you two were on the path towards the Ten of Pentacles and then something happened. With this Eight of Wands here, this card, when it's reversed, can talk about an unexpected delay or blockage. Something that we thought was moving quickly turns out to be totally blocked. It can be when something that we thought was a yes turns out to be a hard no. It can talk about when somebody likes the idea of something more than the reality of it. And that would confirm the message of this Four of Wands reversed. Which, again, when this card comes out reversed, it can talk about we got what we thought we wanted, but it was not fulfilling us the way we wanted it to. There was something missing. It wasn't all that we had hoped it would be. And so that's another reason why I'm saying this is not necessarily the most compassionate message from this person. You know, it's the... I wanted to say that, and I also want to give the immediate reassurance, and there is reassurance here from this person, even though the connection between you two might not have been, like, this person might have realized, oh, this isn't really what I want, or it's not fulfilling me the way I want, or there's something missing here from the connection. With this being clarified by the Knight of Pentacles, I think this is a reassurance that it wasn't because you weren't putting in the work. It wasn't because you weren't showing up. This person, this Knight of Pentacles here is I'm being called to interpret this intuitively again, just because it's like the Knight of Pentacles is somebody who is committed, who shows up every day. And a Knight of Pentacles is like, I want this Ten of Pentacles, and I'm going to go through all of the levels of Pentacles until I get there, because I'm committed to doing things every day. And you know, and so I just think this is here as like this way of this person saying, I was unsatisfied, but not because you weren't showing up. And again, I want to reiterate the message of this Eight of Wands reverse, saying this person might have liked the idea of having a Ten of Pentacles more than they liked the reality. And so if you were on the path towards this, again, I could see how it would be very painful and disillusioning to have somebody who would have told you they wanted the same thing, and then it turns out that no, that's not actually what they want. You know, and especially if you've been in the energy of the Knight of Pentacles, very committed, doing everything that you need to do, taking care of your part of the relationship, like really showing up for this person, being very committed, and being very committed to like the day-to-day stuff. Like this is also talking to me about like the day-to-day reality of what it means to be invested and committed to something. You know, family's not always easy, right? Even managing an abundance of pentacles is not always easy. You know, it requires responsibility. This card, Ten of Pentacles, definitely very associated with a very responsible energy. And this Knight of Pentacles is a very responsible person. So, you know, I'm just getting the sense that, you know, again, this person, when they got into a connection with you, they might not have known what they wanted or what they didn't want. They might have really liked the idea of being in a solid, stable, committed relationship with you, maybe starting a family together, maybe starting a business together, whatever that means. But when they got to the milestones with you, the important relationship milestones, whatever they were, it wasn't what this person thought it was going to be. And again, I'm just going to reiterate, I think this Knight of Pentacles representing your energy here, it wasn't because of anything you did wrong. You know, if there is a compassionate message here, it's this. And I will reiterate, I had to force these cards out of this person. You know, they did not want to give any more messages beyond these and this card right here. So I think if there's emotional honesty here from this person, it's in these clarifiers here. And then we have the King of Swords being clarified by the Nine of Swords in reverse. And that's part of why I'm giving the message. I think this King of Swords, this person, the star, again, I'm not sure that they're being represented here by the starfish. I think the starfish is a separate message for you. I think your energy, they might see you as a starfish spirit person. This King of Swords, I think they avoid their emotional side because it's like if they step off that throne for 1 minute, they're gonna fall into a deep well of horrible anxiety, horrible dark emotions, possibly depression. I think they keep a very tight lid on their emotions because there's something just below the surface that is way too painful or way too heavy to even begin to process. And so they just keep everything shut tight. And that might be why they're looking for somebody who's more representative of a Queen of Swords energy. Again, this might not be a totally balanced Queen of Swords. I think they're deliberately looking for somebody who is as emotionally detached as they are so that they don't have to deal with whatever's being represented by this Nine of Swords in reverse. Nine of Swords, when it's upright, talks about anxiety, depression, dark thoughts, dark feelings, feeling like hopeless. When it's reversed, it's like all of those feelings are amplified, right? So this is like unmanageable. And that this person sitting so confidently on top of the Nine of Swords reversed is like this. They're like, I'm not even, like this is right here. It's very close to this person, right? It's like literally right below the surface, but they're just not going to acknowledge it because it's too much. It's overwhelming. So that was why I was giving that interpretation. And it could be that they never learned how to process their emotions. It could be they just have a very low emotional IQ. It could be that they don't necessarily understand or want to acknowledge that the only way to get through any kind of Nine of Swords, whether it's upright or not, is usually to allow yourself to feel the feelings and then process them and then release them. And it's a long and painful process, but it will ultimately lead to personal growth, right? So I'm not sure this person even recognizes the hypocrisy of trying to give you a message about the starfish when they're not dealing with their own stuff. You know what I mean? And something that's interesting here is this. Again, I'm just getting this real sense. This is this person's energy, and they might be an air sign. They might not be an air sign. But I'm really getting that kind of energy from this person. And then we have the Page of Cups being clarified by the Judgment in reverse. And so it's just so interesting that we have this like rational, logical, emotionally detached, probably like a great leader. Like this person's probably really good at their job, they could be like a very direct communicator, a very direct communication style. And then we have the Page of Cups, which, like, to me, that's almost like the complete opposite energy. The Page of Cups is somebody who's creative, romantic, very in touch with their emotional side, feels their feelings very deeply. And this Page of Cups is like standing here with a cup, ready to offer their cup to somebody. And so this, I think, is here for a couple of reasons. I think that this is here, again, it's like a message for you that this person's feelings, they did have feelings. They had genuine feelings about you. And I think it's very important that it's the page. It's not the knight, it's not the queen, it's not the king, it's the page. It's the youngest and least experienced of the court cards and of the emotional court cards. And so this, again, giving me the sense of somebody, like this person, their feelings were real, but they didn't know how to handle them. Do you know what I mean? Like they're just, they don't know. And it could be inexperience. It could be because they're so afraid of whatever this Nine of Swords reversed is. That it's just like this, when the feelings came up, this person might have panicked. And the Judgment card being in reverse here, when this card comes out reverse, again, like the initial, like, knee-jerk, I I guess you could call it like a knee-jerk interpretation, is always just clouded judgment. And it's judgment and it's in reverse. You know, you can't trust your judgment. Something is up with that, you know. There's an additional, more like an in-depth message about usually we know on some level, some intuitive level, that we need to move towards something. And it's usually something that will help our personal growth. We're being urged to move forward in some way. This card can come up when we just want to stay in the status quo, like we're afraid and we're being stubborn about not making a change or moving towards something that would ultimately benefit our personal growth, right? Which it definitely would reiterate all the messages that I'm seeing here. Like this person we're talking about developed feelings. They were real feelings. This person was there, wanted to give you their cup. Some part of them really wanted to share their emotional world with you, but they were afraid. It could have been the first time that they felt feelings like this, or allowed themselves to even acknowledge those feelings. Or they might never have acknowledged them out loud. Again, I don't think this person's very good at talking about their feelings, let alone feeling their feelings. So if there's something here that was left unsaid, you know, despite this person's insistence that they might have told you everything they intended to tell you, I think this person might have genuinely wanted to have a long-term committed connection or relationship with you because they had developed real feelings. They were afraid to deal with the reality where they needed to show up to the connection with the same dedication that you were. And I think this, again, the Nine of Swords reverse is very telling. And I think it's very important that these cards didn't want to come out. So again, I'm sorry if it's a bit of a more difficult message to process here. Pile 2, hopefully this part of the reading has resonated for you. And maybe given some clarity about where this person's head was at, or where it might even currently be at. You know, I'm not sure how much this person has changed since the two of you were together. If they're still trying to give you starfish advice, you know, like honestly, I'm a little bit offended on your behalf with this person. But again, I think they don't necessarily have malicious intent. I think it's a capacity issue. They just don't have the capacity to even, I think, begin to acknowledge, you know, their own emotional baggage that they were bringing to the table here. So with that said, I am going to get into some channeled messages. I have a channeled messages deck here. It is the Romance Oracle deck. Actually, it's both of the decks by Alice at LoveExistsVisions. I did contemplate making my own channel messages deck, but I figured, you know, there's people who have done it a lot better than I probably would. So with that said, we are going to get some channeled messages. And again, I want to give the disclaimer that I'm getting an energy from this person. They might not be the most tactful person when it comes to other people's emotions. So I just wanted to say that off the bat. So some messages for pile 2, please. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so this person's coming through with a very loud "I miss you." So, you know, this is probably coming from a part of, obviously it's coming from their higher self, but coming from a part of them, you know, that can acknowledge, you know, this Page of Cups really wanted to give you their cup. This person really liked you. You know, they have real feelings here. And, you know, despite whatever the reasons were for whatever they said, however they treated you when you know, I am getting the sense they were the one who ended the connection, or they might have behaved badly as a way to sabotage the connection to get you to end it. Either way, you know, this is confirmation again that like you did not do anything wrong here, and this person does miss you. Like regardless of whether they feel regret over the connection, they do miss you. They really miss you with this all caps message here. And then with "I heard something about you," that's interesting. This person, you know, I don't know how long ago this happened, but This person might have heard, you might have mutual friends or mutual acquaintances, or, you might be doing something with your life where you're getting some attention, and this person might have recently heard something about you, so you might be on their mind again, and that might be causing them to think about you and to miss you. So that's interesting. Whoa, okay. Ooh, okay, and then we have, I feel stuck, which I could understand, especially with, an Eight of Wands reverse is like this lack of forward momentum. This person part of their soul might want the Ten of Pentacles, right? And they might have wanted that with you, but they were stuck. They couldn't, they couldn't make that happen, because I think they just didn't want to have to feel their emotions. And so they could, this could be a message that they're still stuck. They're still kind of being trapped by their own inability to connect with their emotional body. So, what other messages for pile 2? What other messages do you have for pile 2? What other messages? Okay. Okay. All right, we have, I've been up all night thinking about you, so that could be definitely connected with, they heard something about you, they've realized how badly they miss you. This could have opened up part of their emotional body here that's causing them to realize how stuck they are, and they might be having some sleepless nights. There's definitely a message very connected with the Nine of Swords. It's just being unable to sleep because there's too many thoughts swirling around your head. And then we have, I am very attracted to you. So that is just some extra reassurance. If you were wondering about that, that's a message definitely coming through from this person. They were very attracted to you, and they still are very attracted to you. Again, and very connected with this message. You didn't do anything wrong here. This is all this person's baggage that caused whatever happened between you to happen. Again, I'm getting the sense that this separation was caused by this person in whatever way that applies, if that's resonating for you. Then we have, you have changed me, which is interesting. So this person might be acknowledging that even though they might still feel stuck, they might still not have necessarily changed their behavior, the fact that you brought out emotions in them that they might not have wanted to allow themselves to feel. I think that did shift something inside of them for the better. And that would also be a message, as I was saying about the Wheel of Fortune, if this is a destined connection, even if it wasn't meant to be long-term, it's like you were meant to react to each other so that you could make necessary changes in your own lives. And for personal growth, again, another message of the starfish is, unfortunately, we do have to go sometimes through painful and traumatic things in order to achieve a certain level of personal growth. So this could also just be a confirmation of that, that you did have a very big impact on this person's life, even if they might not show it outwardly, even if they might not ever tell you that to your face. This is their higher self coming through to confirm that message. Oh, this is also interesting. I feel there is too much competition. So that is interesting. Maybe the thing that they heard about you is that maybe you have moved on. Maybe they heard that you are dating somebody else, or that you are like not thinking about them at all, or that could be a thing here, or it could be that this person realizes that by having walked away from you, not offering you their cup, in whatever way that means, they know you as this Knight of Pentacles. They know that whoever ends up being with you, you are going to show up for that person, right? And there definitely could be a part of this person, might be related to this Knight of Swords reverse, might be related definitely to some low self-esteem. This person might feel that they really just can't compete, with other people for somebody like you. They might feel like you're out of their league, to put it that way, especially on an emotional level. And they could be worried about whatever competition there might be, because they realize that don't stack up, to put it that way. So, ooh, okay. This is a very interesting message. This card leapt out of the deck. We have, I am seeking revenge. So that's definitely a very interesting message. I'm thinking there might be a couple of ways to interpret that. First of all, unfortunately, there could be a way to interpret that where this person might be seeking revenge on themselves by engaging in self-destructive behavior. They could also, if they have heard that you are seeing somebody else or dating somebody else or moving on from them in some way, they might, this could be a bit of a warning. This person might try to come back towards you because they, if we're talking about somebody who's not great at processing their emotions, they might feel anger instead of regret, to put it that way. Like they might be processing this as, we had an emotional connection. How dare you go have an emotional connection with somebody else? It's invalidating the fact that we had an emotional connection. But it's like, of course, you're not going to sit around and hang on to this person's energy forever. Like, you're entitled to go live your own life, but that might be this person is just so bad at processing their feelings that they might, there could be a warning. This person could try to come back into your life because they might feel like, how dare you, how dare you try to move on, so not necessarily like the happiest messages, the happiest reading today, pile 2, but hopefully this did resonate with you on some level. Hopefully this helped to give you some clarity or some closure here today. I pull the cards and then I give the information. So that's what I'm seeing for you today, pile 2. I do hope that you liked this reading. If you did, feel free to give the video a like. Please comment down below. Let me know how it resonated for you. And if you like my videos and you want to see more from me, you can feel free to subscribe to my channel. And with that said, thank you very much for watching pile 2, and I do hope to see you in my next video. Hello pile 3, and welcome to your reading. If you chose the octopus, then this is going to be your reading for today. And we are asking your person's higher self what they wish they had said to you the last time they saw you. So like what is left unsaid between the two of you. Honestly, for most of these videos and most of these piles, I do make the assumption that it is a past romantic connection or somebody that you might have wished you had a romantic connection with. But either way, this is somebody that you are no longer in contact with. I am going to say, based on this reading, based on the energy in these cards here, it's probably is a romantic connection here, especially with the Lovers reversed. But again, just, I'm just going to say it as I see it, and you can always just take whatever resonates for you. So I do want to say, I think the way that the spread is laid out here, for your reading in particular, I think it is important the way that the cards are spread out, which is giving me the impression that the person we're talking about, who's being represented by this octopus over here, I think that it is likely they are very detail-oriented, or at least their higher self is. That might not have been like maybe an aspect of their personality that they showed you when you were together. However, I am getting the sense that it's like this person was like, we need these cards to be like this so that it can tell a particular story, and to be like more accurate than it might otherwise be, if these were in different positions. So I wanted to say that. I wanted to start by talking about the octopus, the meaning of this card, because I think it is important both to kind of understanding this person's personality and to maybe like giving some extra context in the cards here. I think the octopus spirit is definitely very connected to this Ten of Wands being clarified by the moon reversed, but we'll get into that when we get into it. So the octopus card carries a message. Because octopus have 8 tentacles, it carries a message about multitasking. It is likely that this person feels the most comfortable when they have a lot going on, when they have a lot on their plate, and that's again is being confirmed by this Ten of Wands here. I think that This person's probably a very hard worker and pretty ambitious in terms of their career. And 8 in numerology is associated with both, hard work. It's associated with the material world, so it would be probably pretty associated with like the Suit of Pentacles, and it is associated with money, material abundance. So that might be where this person's focus is, or again, that might be this person's comfort zone. That is where they are the most comfortable. And another message of this card that might be confirmed here again by the moon reversed and the fact that we have the 5 of Swords reversed. The octopus is a master of disguise because it can change its color to camouflage and to hide from predators, or like other predators. Is an octopus a predator? I don't know. I don't remember. But it can disguise itself to hide, and it can contort its body to fit into like really, really small spaces or different sized containers and like squeeze into different places, right? So I'm getting the sense that something that came to me actually when I was looking at this card is this person is many things to many people. I'm not, from this layout, I'm not necessarily getting the sense that this person hid a lot of stuff from you. Like, I'm not getting the sense that they're intentionally trying to be duplicitous. I think that, again, it's like, first of all, it's a survival mechanism. It's like probably a response to this 5 of Swords reversed for this person. I think it's also just something that it just comes naturally. This person might be very good at compartmentalizing, and they might not even realize that they're doing that. They might not necessarily realize that they might be like one person at work and one person with their friends and another person with their significant other. They might be doing that intentionally, or they might be doing that unintentionally, and it might just be because that is how this person feels safe. So if none of that is resonating with the person that you know, then I would say, maybe this isn't your pile, but that was something that was coming up in this octopus spirit that I think is being confirmed in the cards here. So I wanted to say that at the top of the reading. And again, I'm getting the sense that this person is probably very career focused and probably likes having a lot of things going on. So that's what I wanted to say about the octopus. And then this spread is very interesting to me. And again, I think this is very intentional. The fact that we have these 5 cards up here and these 5 clarifiers in this order, I think is very intentional, because there's a mirroring here between the Lovers reversed and the Devil here. And then I think it's very important that this 2 of Swords is in the middle. The imagery here is an angel, and then the 2 figures, the lovers, standing in front of this figure here, and then we have the devil over here, and we have these 2 people, these figures, standing in front of this devil here. The lovers is also number 6, and the devil is 15, which reduces to 6. And then we have this 6 of Cups reversed here, and 6 in numerology is a number associated with domestic life, and that can include your spouse, your children, your family, and having like a very harmonious and balanced home life. And so that, I think, is one of the themes of this reading here, and especially with this 2 of Swords in the middle. There was something being represented over here that represented a happy, stable, balanced home life for this person. Something being represented over here that represented an imbalanced, unhealthy, unstable home or state of mind related to home, family, commitment, domesticity. And what's interesting is this person on the 2 of Swords made a choice. This is what's coming through. I'm sorry if I don't want to be jumping all over the place, but I am getting the sense that this person, even though they are a master of disguise, they're not hiding this information from you. This is something that their higher self does want to communicate to you. And what I'm getting is, this is the choice this person didn't make. This is why they didn't do it. This is how they justified that choice. And this is where they ended up. So I'm going to go through that. We are starting with the Lovers reversed. And this, simple message here. You know, this person, it's like they could have had a lover, but it's reversed. You know, and this card, it doesn't necessarily always talk about a romantic relationship, even though it is the lovers. At its core, it is more about making a choice. And so when it's reversed, this card can say, I made the wrong choice. I'm feeling regret because of the choice that I made, because I have lost something, and it was something that I really wanted, and it was something that I loved, or that I had the potential to love. And this, you know, it can come up when you feel like you've lost the love of your life. It can be as serious as that. It is a major arcana. And it can also just be, I really regret the decision I made because I wanted something. I really wanted something. I had feelings for somebody, and I have lost that. And so the fact is that, you know, this card's here reversed is being clarified by this King of Cups. This is what this person feels that they have lost. And I would say the King of Cups definitely would represent the energy of 6. Because the King of Cups is somebody who is, they represent like emotional stability. And I think this is like a twofold message. This person, if we're channeling, they're saying, I regret the choice I made because I have lost emotional stability. And they're also saying, I regret not choosing you because you were my King of Cups. And regardless of gender, I think you are being represented here by this King of Cups. And this King of Cups is also just representing general emotional stability in this person's life. And the King of Cups representing your energy here is telling me that this person sees you as somebody who is very nurturing, very emotionally available. You're always open and willing to having conversations about feelings. This person felt very safe with you. You're very reliable. You probably give great advice. You give great hugs. You give great, you know, if that's something that this person wants and likes, then, you know, you are just very emotionally mature. You know, and that comes with, because it's the king here, that comes also with healthy boundaries. Like they also see you as somebody who sets and maintains healthy boundaries while at the same time being very emotionally open and emotionally available. You know, but you also have the sense to know how to protect yourself from people who might be trying to take your energy or who might be coming towards you with bad intentions. You know, it's like you're open to love and to connections. And at the same time, you're saying, well, I'm not going to be open to everybody because there are people who have bad intentions. So if somebody comes towards me with the wrong energy, I can say, nope, that's not for me. And, you know, and that's something I think this person really admires about you. If I'm going to step out on a limb here, I think that's also something that this person, I'm not going to necessarily say that they're jealous of it. I don't know that it's like that. I think they admire that about you, and I think that they wished that they were more like that. I think that's something that they wish they could be more like. However, I'm not getting the sense that they were taking steps to move in that direction back then, or maybe even since then. So if we're interpreting this, again, if we're interpreting these two cards as something that this person wished they had told you at the time when they last saw you, in combination with the other cards here, the fact that we have this Lovers in reverse is telling me this person knew they were making the wrong choice. This person knew they were not following their heart. So that's another message of it's like it's a choice. But it's usually the choice when this card is upright is usually telling you to follow your heart. And when it's reversed, it's saying, I regret not following my heart because I've lost what is being represented here on this King of Cups. A connection with you, pile 3, and also my sense of emotional stability. That's what's coming through. I also want to apologize if I call you pile 2 in this reading. I don't know if I've done it already, but I might do it just because I'm being so drawn to this energy of this 2 of Swords. So the number 2 is strong in my head. There's 2 choices. There was 2 paths. There was 2 ways that this person could go. And so I'm sorry, pile 3, if I call you pile 2. But what's also interesting is then we have the 9 of Cups reversed being clarified by the Fool reversed. And again, this is it's like a simple channeled message here, and I'm getting the sense that this is the real reason This person, if they chose to end your connection, if they chose to sabotage it, if they ghosted you, if they just walked away, if they might not have given you any closure, they might not have given you a real reason, that, I don't know how this ended, but this was the real reason that they chose not to, like they made the choice here that they regretted not moving towards this King of Cups, was because of this. And the Nine of Cups reversed can talk about something not being fulfilling. Because the Nine of Cups upright is like our wish fulfillment. It's the thing we really want. And when it's upright, it's like it was exactly as exciting and fulfilling as we thought it was going to be, if not more so. And when it's reversed, it's like that bubble is kind of burst. It's like you might have gotten the thing you thought you really wanted, but it just wasn't what you thought it was going to be. The fact that, like, listen, I'm not getting the impression that this person is saying that a connection with you, like that they walked away because the connection with you, whatever it was at that time when you last saw them, however it was between the two of you, I'm not saying that they thought that that was unfulfilling or that it wasn't as good as they thought it was going to be. I'm saying they were afraid of that because this is being clarified by the Fool in reverse. And the Fool in reverse it has kind of like a twofold message of, sometimes this card comes out reversed when Spirit is warning us to look before you leap, to be careful, to not do something reckless. And it can also come out when we are hesitating because of fear. We're not taking that step forward because of fear, and it's usually in a way that is going to have a negative impact, like that hesitancy, that not wanting to move forward, being held back by fear, usually not a positive thing. Right? And I mean, it can be when we're talking about not doing something reckless. However, I'm getting the sense, the fact that this is clarifying this Nine of Cups reversed, this person was afraid that their connection with you was too good to be true. That's just the simple message of these two cards coming out together here, especially because the first two cards are the Lovers reversed and the King of Cups. This person knew at the time that you were their King of Cups. And so even though they had a fear that it wasn't going to work out, or it wasn't going to be what they wanted, or it was too good to be true, it wasn't going to be a genuine Nine of Cups, and that was preventing them from moving towards it, in their heart of hearts they knew that they were choosing the wrong thing. They were choosing not to go down the path of emotional fulfillment, choosing not to go down the path where they would have had a loving, amazing relationship with somebody who is emotionally available, emotionally. So the King of Cups is a fantastic person to be in a relationship with. And the two of you together could have weathered any storm. Whatever this person told themselves, whatever reason they used to justify walking away from this, it was fear of it being too good to be true that held them back. But they also knew that like they, you know what I mean? Like they knew that they were doing the wrong thing. They knew that they were letting fear hold them back. In their heart of hearts, they knew. And so I think that, with the benefit of hindsight and this message coming directly from their higher self, it's not being filtered through this person's ego or anything like that. Their higher self wants you to know. And this isn't to say, like, to be cruel or to say, like, this person knew you were a King of Cups, but they chose to walk away anyway because it was easy. No, this person chose to walk away because they were scared. And there's some justification for that over here, but I just want you to know that, like, I think the important message here is you are being represented here by this King of Cups, and I think that it's this person it's not only like that it's too good to be true, it won't be as fulfilling as they hope. I'm also getting the sense that we don't have any other figure here that is representing a counterpart for this King of Cups. And that's telling me that I think this person also had a fear that you were too good for them. They don't deserve to be with somebody who's being represented here by this King of Cups. I think it's likely, it's possible and likely this person might have, again, deep down, I'm not sure this is something that's at the surface. I'm not sure this is something they would ever show to somebody or want to be vulnerable about. But I think this person deep down has some low self-esteem issues where, you know, again, I feel like they especially because you're being represented here by the king. There's, you know, of the court cards, of the 4 court cards in every suit, there is nobody who has a higher position than the king. You know, and like we can talk about, you know, the patriarchy and outdated gender roles, etc., etc. However, that's just the nature of the tarot deck. The king is on the highest level, and again, there's no counter. There's no other king. There's no counterpart. There's no queen. There's just no counterpart here for this person, for this card representing you. That would represent this person being your counterpart. So I wanted to throw that in there as like, I think they also were worried that it wasn't going to work out, especially because they didn't feel like a counterpart to your energy. They didn't feel like they could match your energy as this King of Cups. And again, I'm not sure that's something that they would ever have like admitted out loud, you know, but I wanted to put that in there because I don't want you to feel like this person is saying or feeling or thinking that walking away from you was easy, because I'm getting the sense that it was not. And that they, I think, at the time, you know, if this is their energy at the time, they did not want to face or process how difficult this decision was, and how painful it was to make the choice to walk away. At the time, they were just not. I can't tell you where this person is now in terms of their emotional development. We will get some channeled messages at the end of the reading, but you know, but I can say, like, at the time, they were not facing how painful this decision was. I think that they wanted to cauterize the wound is something that just came into my head. So I wanted to say that about these cards here, and then we do have this Two of Swords, and this Two of Swords to me is representing, again, it's like the Two of Swords can talk about making a choice, making a decision, echoing that energy of this Lover's reversed, you know, and it's I think it's really important that this is in the middle of the spread. You know, it's like this was the path they didn't take. This was the choice that they didn't make. This was the path they took. This was the choice they did make. You know, and the Two of Swords can talk about analysis paralysis. You know, it's not necessarily a negative message in terms of, you know, sometimes it's just talking about, like, literally just giving yourself time to make a decision based on weighing the pros and cons, you know, which is usually a positive. It's good to give yourself time to think something through, especially if it's an emotional decision. You know, it can this card can talk about taking a step back emotionally, trying to get a little bit of emotional distance from whatever you're trying to make a decision about, so that you can weigh the pros and cons and make whichever decision is most in alignment with what is best for you, what is right for you and best for you in this situation. However, this card here is being clarified by this Five of Swords reversed, and I'm getting the sense that this person, when they tried to do like the pros and cons, kind of like the cost-benefit analysis, you know, first of all, it's not always the best choice to try to use logic and reason to make an emotional decision. That's not always the best path to take. Sometimes we have to rely on our gut, you know, but it's like when this person was trying to figure out which way to go here, they were being heavily influenced by this Five of Swords reversed. And this Five of Swords is reversed. It's telling me this was not a positive influence on this person's decision making. At the time, I'm getting the sense this Five of Swords reversed was the reason this person has a blindfold on. They just were not able to come to the solution that was right and best for them. And if the Five of Swords, you know, when it has a negative message, it's like, I don't know that there is a way to read the Five of Swords where it has a positive. I'm sure somebody could do it, but, you know, it's usually pretty negative. When it's upright, it talks about conflict, bullying, being in a cutthroat environment, being around toxic people. It can talk about doing toxic things yourself, and feeling regret, feeling guilt about that. It can talk about being ambitious enough to do anything to succeed, to the detriment of other people. You know, it's like climbing over other people to get to the top. That is something that is associated with this card, when it is upright, when it is reversed, that energy is amplified. And that can usually mean it's amplified to the point where toxic situations, toxic people, and toxic environments are creating trauma. So the fact that this card is here in the context of this reading is telling me this might be the reason why this person was so afraid that their connection with you was too good to be true, or that they, like, their heart of hearts knew you're a real king of cups. You were upright. There were no red flags or warning signs here. But this person has some sort of, it's either and or past trauma or currently being in a situation. It might have been at the time they were still in a situation where they might have been surrounded by people who had a toxic effect on them. It could have been that they might have had like narcissistic family members, abusive family members, or other people in their life who were in those energies. They might have grown up in a situation where it was not safe to be emotionally vulnerable. It could have been that, they just are in a very cutthroat environment all the time. That might be something that they... if they have a high-powered career, that might be something that they've learned how to be very good at in their career, but it's not a safe or healthy emotional environment. And it creates a lot of trauma. And there's something else that is associated with this card that's coming up that I don't usually talk about it when this card comes out reversed, but I'm being compelled to mention it. Is this card is also associated with being deeply humiliated. And it can be like deeply humiliated for being who we are, for being genuine, or for being vulnerable in some way, and then somebody turns around and just like uses your worst fears against you, or just it's that sense of deep I'm feeling it right now in my chest, and so that might be something that has happened in this person's past. That might be something associated with their childhood. We do have all this like sixth energy of family and childhood and domesticity in the past. Or it could be something that they're still currently grappling with, or they were at the time. They're still in an environment like this where it's just not safe for them to be vulnerable. And what I'm seeing with the spread of these cards here is this was again heavily influencing this person's decision making. And that's not saying that how do I put this? This is an explanation, it's not an excuse. If they ended their connection with you, walked away from you in a way that was hurtful, if they never gave you a reason why, if they struggle so much with vulnerability, like it makes sense why they would, if they're, if this Five of Swords reverses something that has happened in their life, it would make sense why they feel like they have to keep an emotional wall up. That makes sense, but it does not excuse the way that they treated you. And I want to put that out there. I don't know if that's something that is coming from this person's higher self, but it's something I feel really compelled to say, right? Like and I am kind of getting the sense this person is not really using it as like a justification. The justification is over here, but it's like this is an explanation. This is and especially if they're coming through to give you the real reason why they decided to end your connection or walk away or sabotage it or whatever happened between the two of you. Like again, as with most of the piles say, I'm getting the sense that whatever happened between the two of you was this person's fault. And if that's not resonating with you, then this is something that they were still feeling when the two of you were together. But the fact that they were starting out with the Lovers reversed, again, it's giving like a clear message that this person made the wrong choice. And that's why I'm giving the interpretation that I think they were the one who caused the end of your connection, however that happened. And again, I'm getting the sense they might not ever have said this to your face because they're so afraid of a vulnerability. It possibly related to past trauma, possibly related to whatever environment or circumstance they were in at the time when they were trying to make this decision. And I want to say, if this is representing, like, if we're talking about, the topic of the reading, sometimes I set the topic of the reading and the interpretation just comes out however it comes out. But, if we're talking about things that they wish they had said to you at the time, they're saying, this is them saying they regret not expressing this fear to you because they knew you would be support. The King of Cups, you could tell them listen, I'm afraid because I'm afraid of my emotions. You know, I'm afraid that, like, because this connection is so good and I like you so much and I feel like we have a future together, this is causing me fear because of my past experiences. A King of Cups, if you said something like that to a King of Cups, they'd be like, okay, let's talk about that. You know, the King of Cups not going to run away from having an emotionally vulnerable conversation, you know, because this person understands that, you know, it's having those conversations that creates intimacy. It creates trust. And so, you know, this person's talking about regrets. They regret not sharing this fear with you. And it's like they might have even wanted to explain to you their thought process and how it related to things that were going on in their personal life. And this, again, might be stuff that they never told you, especially with the energy of the octopus, of juggling many things at once, of compartmentalization, you know, maybe showing different sides of yourselves to different people in different situations. This person might not have told you about the how deep-seated this stuff was, the depth of their emotional trauma related to whatever this Five of Swords reverse is representing in their life. And that's not on you. That's a choice that they made. And they knew you were trustworthy, and they still chose not to trust you. And that has nothing to do with you. So again, I want to reiterate that. Then we have the Ten of Wands being clarified by the Moon reverse. And we're going in this direction. This is the way this person chose to go instead of moving towards you. And again, I'm getting this was their justification. And this is where they are because they made this choice. So the Ten of Wands, not necessarily a negative message. Sometimes it is, depending on the reading. Here I am getting the sense, this Ten of Wands, it can talk about, because 10 is a lot of wands to carry. It's a burden, you know, and we're already talking about multitasking, taking on a lot of stuff, being very ambitious, particularly when it comes to work. Again, 8 is a number in numerology associated with hard work and material abundance. This person might be very focused on their career. They might be very ambitious. It's another message of the Ten of Wands is ambition. It takes a lot of ambition to carry 10 wands, you know, and to continue doing it when you have the ability and the opportunity to put down those wands. You do not have to carry all 10 wands. That is a choice that you are making. So I think this person feels comfortable when they are throwing themselves into work and taking on a lot, and taking on maybe more than is healthy for them. And so it could be this person chose to throw themselves into work, or they told themselves that they told themselves they didn't have the time or energy for this connection, even though they knew at the time that that wasn't true. Like, I just want to clarify, this person knew at the time they were making a bad choice. And the fact that this is being clarified by the Moon in reverse is telling me this person was lying to themselves. They were lying to themselves. They were lying possibly to you if they ever gave you an explanation. And they were definitely lying to other people in their lives. About if anyone asked them, oh, why did you end your connection with pile 3? What happened here? They probably lied about that too. Because the Moon can talk about illusions, you know, and when it's reversed, it's like the illusion is so thick that we don't want to even face reality. Like, it's too, and I'm getting this, it's too much, it's too heavy, it's too painful. So this person knew they were making the wrong choice for their heart, their emotional self, and they didn't want to face that fact. And so they threw themselves into whatever they were doing instead. They were distracting themselves. They were, you know, and the Moon reverse carries a similar message to the Devil. Like, there's a kind of a mirrored energy here about escapism and addiction and addictive behaviors. And the Devil is also associated with Capricorn, which is a sign associated with hard work and ambition, you know, so it could be this, again, this person threw themselves into work to the point of workaholism, of like an unhealthy dependence on achievement or or financial success as a way to get our dopamine hit, as a way to get validation, and to feel like we were successful because we've climbed a corporate ladder, or we've taken on more work than anybody else, etc., etc., throwing themselves into work as a distraction from their feelings. And, I am getting the sense this is probably related to workaholism with the Ten of Wands here. However, it could also be, if this is resonating for you, it could also be this person does have substance abuse issues, or some other form of process addiction. Process addiction is any addiction that is not related to a substance. It can be like a behavioral addiction, a sex addiction. It can be workaholism. It can be like a shopping addiction, a gambling addiction, a video game addiction even, or an internet. It's like this person is engaging in escapism through an addictive behavior. Possibly. That is a message associated with both the moon in reverse and the devil. It's like, I don't want to face reality. I don't want to face whatever here because it's too heavy. It's too much of a burden. There's too much going on. I can't handle it. So I'm not going to face the reality here. And then if this is evolving into the devil card being here, again, the devil's not necessarily a negative message. However, it's a card associated with attachment, and attachment, for good or ill, right? Whether it's upright or reversed, and this card can definitely be associated with work and business, because it's associated with like contracts and things like that. This person might be very successful in their career, but this card also talks about unhealthy attachments, and it can talk about escapism. And it can talk about temptation, vices, addictions, and indulging in things we know we shouldn't be indulging in. And the fact that this is being clarified by the Six of Cups in reverse is giving me kind of a twofold message. Again, I think this devil, there is a mirrored energy here between this Lovers reversed and the devil card here, and I just think it's really interesting. We have these like two bookends, and then the Two of Swords in the middle. Again, it's like a diverging path. It was a decision this person made. This was what they could have had. This is what they do have, and right now they have the devil, and that's giving me the sense, even though this card is upright, this person has an unhealthy attachment to something related to their past, and that could be they are still very hung up on you. No matter how long ago it was that something between the two of you happened, if this person's higher self is coming through to say, you were their wish fulfillment, you were their King of Cups, you were the other half on this Lover card for them, and they were too afraid to take that step forward because they were afraid that you were too good to be true. You were so much of a wish fulfillment for this person that they had trouble believing that it was real, and they might still be hung up on you because of that. They might have like moved on to other connections, etc. But look, on an emotional level, the Six of Cups, because the Cups is associated with emotions. On an emotional level, this person is still here emotionally, especially if they never dealt with their feelings here with the Moon reverse. They just lied to themselves that they were, this is the right decision. And it was based on past trauma or a current toxic situation, and or maybe both, and their fear. And they just told themselves that this was the way to go, even though they knew that that was not true. It was just too painful for them to face at that time. And again, this is an explanation. It is not an excuse. Especially if you're showing up here as the King of Cups, this person knew you were a safe person to confide in, and they chose not to. And then the Six of Cups reverse could also be alluding to whatever's happening in this Five of Swords reverse, if this is related to this person's past, particularly to their home life, particularly to their life growing up when they were a child. Six of Cups definitely associated with childhood, family life, and things from our past. And this card can also talk about being stuck in the past. So it could be, if this is maybe a clarifying, if this Five of Swords reversed was so phenomenally painful for this person that they just can't move past it, and it's keeping them stuck, and it might be keeping them engaging in some sort of addictive behavior or destructive pattern of behavior, some cycle that is not benefiting them, that is keeping them burdened and overwhelmed. It's because they're comfortable there. There's an attachment to something in their past, something related to their emotions that they're not willing to let, or they at the time were not willing to let go of. And I am getting the sense this person might still be stuck. I mean, well, again, we'll get channeled messages and get maybe some more clarification as to where this person is now. But, if this is something that they wish they had told you at the time, they wish that, this is just telling me they wish they had opened up to you more and been more vulnerable with you and told you what was burdening them and shared with you about, again, like I'm just getting the sense this person was lying to themselves. They knew that they were using whatever was here, whether it was work or another type of addictive or escapist or avoidant behavior. They knew they were avoiding here. They knew that they did that on purpose, and they lied to themselves about it. So that's what's coming through as what this person wishes they had expressed to you at the time. And if you're looking for closure or an explanation as to what happened between you, like this, I have to say, pile 3, like your person their message is coming through pretty clearly. That the other piles, there's maybe a little bit more interpretation needed. This person, again, like I'm just getting the sense that their higher self was like, okay, we're gonna put this in the middle. We're gonna lay this out like this. There's gonna be a mirrored energy. We're gonna have the number 6. This is gonna be like a clear explanation of what happened, so pile 3 can maybe get some closure. And I'm getting the sense that at the very least, their higher self is absolutely coming through that this person, they had genuine feelings. They probably still do have feelings, because again, I'm getting the sense that they were not dealing with their emotional world. Especially at the time, and then their higher self, I think, is coming through to deliver this message to you today, because they know you deserve to have some closure, some explanation as to what happened here, even though it is not an excuse for this behavior. So I wanted to say that. And with that said, let us get into the channeled messages. So I have 2 channeled message decks together in one here. They are by Alice at LoveExistsVisions. She has a great channel if you want to check her out. I did consider the idea of making my own channel messages deck, but then I figured, other people probably made better decks. So I've been using this for the other 2 piles, and I really like it. So shout out to Alice. So with that said, let us get some messages for you. What messages do you have for pile 3? Pile 3, this person's higher self. What messages do you have for pile 3? What messages? Okay. Yeah, we have, I'm very attracted to you. And they were, this, and it's not I was very attracted. This person's still very attracted to you. Yeah, I don't trust you. And that is coming through as something like, the message here is, it's not because of you. It's not because of who you are. The King of Cups is very trustworthy, right? That wasn't on you. It's because of stuff that was going on with them. But they still chose not to share that, you know what I mean? So this is coming through again, like as a reason. It's an explanation, but they had every opportunity to open up to you about this, and I'm getting the sense that they didn't, because they have trust issues, and especially if it's coming through in all caps, it's like this person was like desperately afraid of putting their emotional vulnerability in the hands of somebody who's not trustworthy, possibly because they've been deeply hurt and humiliated in the past by people who were not trustworthy, and that's not on you. So I want to reiterate that. With I want to get back together, that absolutely would resonate if they're still hung up on this connection. I don't think this person has moved on. With I want to be more than friends. It could have been that this connection started out as a friendship and there was an opportunity to move into a deeper connection. Or it could have just been like, this person, you might have had a really good friendship in addition to, having this strong attraction between the two of you. And it could also have been like, how do I want to put this? There was a potential to develop a really deep bond. And they got scared. But they're coming through today to say that they do want to be more than friends. They wanted to have that deep bond with you, and they were just scared because they have trust issues. Oh my God, look at that. What did I just, they have trust issues. I have trust issues. It's fully 100% confirmation. It's not about you. Whatever happened here was not about you. Love doesn't feel like enough. Definitely echoing that message of the Nine of Cups reversed, clarified by the Fool reversed. This person was worried that it was too good to be true. You know, and it could, you know, they might have just been feeling like the very beginning stages, you know, of a deeper love. And because of their own emotional baggage, their own emotional trauma, they were worried that that feeling wasn't going to be enough to be able to sustain the kind of relationship that they wanted to have with you in their heart of hearts. And I think this is related to the fact that you're being represented here by this King of Cups, and there's no counterpart. You know, I think love doesn't feel like enough. This could be another way of them saying, I don't think my loving feelings are enough. Yeah, that's too many. Again, this person's coming through with, you know, they have a lot to say. And with this interesting juxtaposition to pile 2, whose person was like, I've already said everything I wanted to say. You know, they did. Pile 2's person didn't want to communicate with me. Your person is coming through loud and clear. So they definitely, their higher self was like, pile 3 deserves closure. Let's communicate. With, oh, again, stay away from me. In all caps here, is very related to this trust issues message. It's like, it's reminding me of like the ink defense from the octopus. You know, when they feel threatened and they just like, they ink and then they run away. You know, it's like, I don't trust you, stay away from me. You know, this person has a very highly developed defense mechanism, possibly related to past trauma, stuff that has happened in their past. But it's, again, that's an explanation. It's not an excuse. This person knew you were trustworthy, and they let their trust issues get in the way of them making the choice that their heart wanted them to make. And that with, I'm getting lost in the memories, this Six of Cups reversed, they think about you all the time. And that's something that's coming through. They think about you all the time because they know that they missed out on something real. They know that they missed out on something here, and they regret the choice that they made. That's it. The basic message of the Lover's reverse. I regret the choice that I made. I didn't follow my heart, and this is what I've lost. I've lost my connection with my King of Cups, and I'm getting lost in. Again, this person thinks about you all the time. But they let their fear hold them back. And that's on them, not on you. So that is all the messages that I have for you today, pile 3. I hope that you enjoyed this reading. I hope it resonated for you. If you liked the video, please feel free to give it a like. And please comment down below. Let me know whether it resonated for you or not. And if you like my videos, you want to see more from me, you can feel free to subscribe to my channel. And with that said, thank you very much for watching pile 3, and I do hope to see you in my next video. Hello pile 4, and welcome to your reading. If you chose the whale, then this is going to be your reading for today. I know that this is probably like a blue whale, and this is an orca, but it was the only whale figurine that I have, so hopefully that's okay. And today we're asking Spirit about what your person wishes that they had told you the last time that they saw you. And I want to say, pile 4, there's a very interesting energy here. It is very different from the other piles, even though we have some of the same cards here in this reading. I think we've had the Nine of Cups, Ten of Pentacles, King of Cups, Wheel of Fortune in other piles. So I'm going to start out by describing what I'm seeing about this person. And if that doesn't sound like the person that we're talking about, then I would suggest maybe there are messages for you if you felt drawn to a different pile. Because again, some of these cards are showing up multiple times. And this is a very distinct, specific energy. It is a specific situation that I'm seeing here. And it's interesting. It is interesting and distinct from the other piles. So I also wanted to say that this person, the whale represents depth, because whales can go very deep into the ocean. It represents a depth of wisdom and insight, and also not being afraid to do an emotional deep dive to get to like the root causes of our fears or certain emotions. So basically there's an energy of not being afraid to go deeper. And I want to say this reading, these cards here are coming from this person's perspective. So I realize I don't have your perspective on whatever happened here. However, this is coming from this person's higher self. And our higher selves are privy to a deeper well of information than our conscious selves are. So I want to say, like, if some of this is resonating, but it might be a little bit skewed by this person's perspective, I would just, take that into account. And I'm also, like, there's a message here about being slightly misaligned with somebody. And okay, there's several things that I'm seeing that I want to touch on that I think are related to this person's personality. First of all, they might be very deep. They might be very in touch with their emotions. They might be somebody who, I think, if I'm being honest, I think their energy is being represented here by this King of Cups, and I think you're being represented in this situation of whatever happened here on this Four of Pentacles card. So I want to say that right off the bat. There's a lot of water energy. Obviously I picked all of water animals. The whale definitely associated with water, lots of Cups cards, and then there's a lot of earth energy. And so you or they could be a water sign or an earth sign. If it's water sign, it might particularly be Pisces or Scorpio. Again, Scorpio up there. Or if it's earth, it might be Taurus. Like, it might be a fixed sign with the Wheel of Fortune there. But just take it however it resonates for you. But so one of the things that I was getting the sense is this person might be very deep. They might have like a lot of emotional depth, very intuitive. They might have almost like a psychic sense of intuition. That's another message of the Whale card, is being very deep and very intuitive. It's definitely associated with the King of Cups here. And they might be somebody, I'm getting the sense of either a musician or a poet or a lyricist, or somebody who's really into music, or somebody who just expresses themselves through symbolism. This person might use a lot of metaphors or figures of speech to help illustrate their point or help communicate something. Because, particularly with Pile 2's person didn't want to talk to me at all. Pile 3's person really wanted to talk to me, but it was mostly words and phrases. Your person, Pile 4's person, is using more like images and song lyrics and like musical terminology. So that's why I'm saying this person, they might be a musician, they might play music, they might read sheet music, or just really enjoy music, again, or they might like express themselves in some sort of symbolic way, or it could be that the two of you don't share your first languages might be different, or they might not speak English as one of their languages, and they might not be comfortable communicating with me by using English words and phrases, if that makes sense. Just take that however it resonates. But that, I just thought it was interesting. They have kind of like a different communication style than the other piles. I also wanted to say before I forget, when I was shuffling the cards, I was seeing either like a botanical garden or a rose garden, like big bushy shrubs with vibrant red roses. So I don't know if that's an image for somebody or is going to resonate with somebody, but I was seeing that when I was shuffling the cards. And then the other thing I wanted to mention before I get into the cards is there's an interesting pattern here. And it's interesting both in terms of the numbers that are on these cards and the fact that there's a mirror here in terms of which cards are upright and which ones are reversed. We have reversed, upright, 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 reversed, upright, upright, reversed, upright, right? So it's like a mirror of which cards are upright and reversed. However, I'm seeing this and I'm still feeling like it's unbalanced. And with the messages and the cards, it's giving me a sense of there's mirroring here. There's something that's very much in common. However, there's some sort of imbalance. And I think it's interesting that I'm being called to interpret this as this person's energy on the King of Cups and your energy on the Four of Pentacles, and you're on either side of this Wheel of Fortune. You're on either side of the mirror that is imbalanced in some way. There's some misalignment here. And that is being confirmed for me by the numbers. It's like there's a pattern, but it's when I was initially noticing this, what came into my head is offbeat. So again, it's like using musical terminology, like it's out of sync. It's not syncopated. It's offbeat. It's out of rhythm. And I'm saying that because we have this 9 and this 9, but they're reversed, right? And then we have a king and a queen, but they're opposite each other and they're reversed. And then we have this 10 of Pentacles and then the 10 of the Wheel of Fortune, but again, they're opposite each other. It's like a crisscross, like they're not fully aligned. And then we have this 4 upright and this 4 reversed. They're next to each other, but they're not aligned. And then we have the 12 on the hanged one and the 13 on death. It's like this, it's a progression, right? But it's like this is like the end of it's like the last notes in a song, but the rest of the song isn't there. So I don't know if I'm expressing that clearly. Again, this person is using more symbols than clear words and phrases, but like I think it's significant that there's mirrors, there's 2 9s, there's 2 4s, there's 2 10s, there's a king and a queen, there's a counterpart energy, there's the 12 and the 13, but it's not fully in alignment. It's like it's not a complete pattern. Does that make sense? I hope I'm expressing that clearly. And then the other thing that was interesting is we do have this mirrored energy of the uprights and reversals, right? However, what was interesting was when I was trying to get a clarifier for the 4 of Pentacles, I kept seeing the 3 of Cups. I think I kept shuffling and shuffling. A bunch of cards would come out. I'd see the 3 of Cups, and then I'd put it back, and then more cards would come out. I'd see the 3 of Cups again. I would ask, should I take the 3 of Cups? Should I take this card? And I kept hearing, no, that's not the card. No, that's not the card. And it kept coming out and showing itself. And then eventually the hanged one came out instead. However, then I was like, well, I'm still going to talk about the 3 of Cups. And I heard, that's fine. It was like this person, they just wanted to make sure that this card had the right clarifier, right? But we had the 3 of Cups was something that like wanted to insert itself in there, and this person was like, no, that's not really a part of this story. But I'll talk about it when I get there. I just thought that was interesting, and it's like this is another way in which it's not the whole story. It's not the complete pattern. It's like it's a part of a song that hasn't been finished yet. To put it that way. Again, I'm getting like a very specific interpretation of what might have happened here, and it's interesting because this is also the first pile where I'm thinking it was either a miscommunication or a misunderstanding, or both of you just were not on the same page about something, and you were not kind of seeing eye to eye about something, and it might have had to do with money. There might have been like some financial situation that there was some sort of impasse maybe. And it's like, again, this is the first pile where I'm getting it wasn't necessarily that somebody walked away from someone and broke their heart. That might have been what happened here. I don't want to discount that, but I'm getting the sense it was more just like there was maybe a mutual realization that the two of you were not communicating clearly, or you were not seeing things the same way, or you had a difference of opinion or a difference of perspective, especially with the fact that this person really wanted this hanged one card here, like this hanged man, like they really wanted this card here. And this card talks about changing perspective. This might be saying this person really wanted to change your perspective. And what I'm hearing is you just might not have gotten there in the time when the two of you were together, if that makes sense. Like there's just, again, like this is just the first pile where I'm like, I'm not 100% sure what happened, you know, in terms of why this connection ended, you know, and I'm also not getting the sense that their higher self is coming through to say, like, I'm sorry that I hurt you, you know, but, you know, I would understand if it, like this, there's no excuse for my behavior, and I understand if you moved on, etc., etc. This is the first pile where it's like, things just didn't work out. That's what it's coming through as, you know, and it was like, it wasn't necessarily anybody's fault, like, really, you know, it's just coming through more as like you just reached an impasse, and unfortunately it ended. But this person is coming through, and they're giving their side of what happened here, and maybe trying to give as full a picture as they can, even though you're not here to give your input right now. You know, and I'm just getting the sense the door is not closed here. If you were interested in reconnecting with this person, I'm getting the sense that they might be open to that. If you could figure out a way to have the conversation that you need to have, to put the missing pieces of the song or the puzzle or whatever is incomplete here, to kind of fit in whatever information is missing. And what's interesting is, again, I want to say this so I don't forget, another thing I heard when I was shuffling the cards was, and I was thinking about, oh, this person is communicating using music. Something that came into my mind was, and I was thinking, you know, things they're just slightly misaligned. It's like they're not. It's not quite a perfect pattern. You know, is something that came into my mind was a song lyric from a song called "One Man Band" by Old Dominion. And it says, I found you like a melody. You were singing in the same key as me. And so what I'm getting from that is, again, there's a mirror here. I think that this person realizes and recognizes you might have had a deep connection with the depth of the whale here. You might have had a deep emotional connection. There might have been like soulmate energy here. So there's another message of the Wheel of Fortune in a spread like this can be, you know, there's destiny at play here. So you might have recognized this as like a soul deep connection, and it was external circumstances that caused you to be out of alignment, just offbeat. It just might have been a case of right person, wrong time, or right person, wrong circumstance, or just like hitting on a topic of conversation where the two of you had such a different perspective on that one particular thing that it just threw everything kind of off a little bit. Does that make sense? I hope I'm communicating clearly. Again, it's a very specific message. It might not resonate for everybody. If this isn't resonating for you, I would suggest looking at a different pile. But it's just like your pile's energy is so interesting. And I wanted to talk about that before I get into the cards. So I do want to jump right in here with this Nine of Pentacles reversed being clarified by the Nine of Cups upright. And this to me is a simple message, because the simple message here is success and money don't mean anything without emotional fulfillment. Like, it's all the money in the world is meaningless if I'm not emotionally fulfilled. That's a simple message just coming through here, with these two cards being juxtaposed like this. Because the Nine of Pentacles, when it's reversed, can talk about having the realization that money can't buy happiness. You know, and I'm getting the sense if this person's energy is being represented by this King of Cups and clarified by the Ten of Pentacles, you know, saying this is somebody who probably grew up with money. They probably have they might have a trust fund. They might have generational wealth. They might have always had money. And it might be something that is like just such a non-issue for them that they might not even think about it. It could be that, they've never had to worry about paying a bill or where their meal was coming from, or it could be that like all of their main concerns, are like the very top of the hierarchy of needs. It's all like metaphysical, and it could be that's why this person might be in a King of Cups energy, is because they're focused on emotional fulfillment. With this Nine of Cups here, Nine of Cups is also wish fulfillment. It's like this person is looking for something that's going to fulfill the thing they want, and they're realizing that thing is not money. Money can never fill these 9 cups for this person. And it's, again, the message here is it's because they've always had money. They realize that, money can make your life very convenient. It can absolutely solve a lot of problems. I don't think this person would dispute that. However, it cannot make you happy in itself. It can pay for great therapy, but it's just the money itself is not going to provide emotional fulfillment, to put it that way. I think if we're doing a reading about what this person wishes that they had told you, they might not have communicated this, or felt like they adequately communicated this with you, or they might have felt like they didn't get the opportunity to even explain this. Or they might have felt self-conscious, especially with it, if their energy is being represented here by this King of Cups. And I will say, this is this person's interpretation of their own energy. So it's like they're saying, it is coming from their higher self, but they are showing up as saying, like, I'm very emotionally stable. I'm very emotionally in touch. I'm very deep, I do think that they probably are, given the way that they are showing up and communicating in this reading. However, we always do need to take things with a certain level of healthy skepticism when it comes through one person's perspective, right? However, what I was saying is, a King of Cups is somebody who always takes other people's emotional reactions into account, or they try to. They try to anticipate how what they say is going to make somebody else feel, to put it that way. And as somebody who probably grew up at least financially stable, but probably very financially abundant, as somebody who's never had to worry about money, they might realize that they have a lot of privilege that other people don't have. They have the privilege to be looking only for emotional fulfillment. They have the privilege of not being concerned about money. And I think this is somebody who's acutely aware of how that might make other people feel, to the point where they might prevent themselves from explaining their point of view to somebody who they know did not grow up with money. And it's not because they don't think that you can understand. It's more they just don't want to. I don't want to sound like an asshole. They don't want to come across as somebody who's like, oh well, I don't have to care about money. It's just I'm just getting the sense that somebody's very acutely aware of their own privilege, and they don't want to just like throw that attitude around and make it seem like that they don't recognize that this is a luxury, that not having to worry about money it's a luxury. That in itself is a luxury, right? And so it could be this person didn't want to, there might have been a necessary conversation here that might have had to do with money or financial security or material things or something like that, and they might not have wanted to have that conversation because they were concerned about how it would make them seem in your eyes, or because they were concerned about how it would make you feel. And I'm not saying that for that's good or bad, right? I'm not trying not to add a value judgment onto this person's decision making, right? However, obviously communication is a huge part of having a trusting, loving, healthy relationship. Even having an uncomfortable conversation is very important. And, the King of Cups most of the time is usually willing to have that uncomfortable conversation. However, I'm also, as I said, I was picking up on the sense that this person might struggle to communicate in non-symbolic ways. So there might be a language barrier. There might be they might just feel a lot more comfortable expressing themselves through music or through art or through creative gifts rather than through words. And so they might have tried to explain themselves, and they might have inadvertently done a bad job, if that makes sense. That might be something that's coming through here. And then I am going to talk about the Wheel of Fortune being clarified by the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, because this could be another dimension to this person's thought process here. And this could be, if this is in the center of a mirrored energy where this is representing this person, this is representing how they viewed your part and whatever happened. This is the central energy here. This is talking to me about miscommunication. So the Wheel of Fortune could be here for a few different reasons. You know, it could be here as a message from this person's higher self that, you know, that again, this could be like a soul level connection. The two of you might have signed a soul contract. You could be a soulmate to this person, and they could be a soulmate to you. You could, you know, or it could be a karmic connection. And it could be, you know, you would have to decide how this resonates for you, you know, whether you would be interested in pursuing something with this person still, or if you just wanted to kind of like hear things from their perspective. And you might not be interested in that, and that's okay, you know, it's up to you. It could be a karmic connection where you were meant to learn a lesson here. Both of you were meant to react to each other and then learn whatever lesson needed to be learned here. What's interesting is it's not a typical way to read this card, but again, this person's communicating with like a visual image instead of words. But what I'm seeing is this wheel is spinning so fast that it's like creating like an aura or a force, an outward force that is pushing this Queen of Pentacles away. Does that make sense? This is like a protective spinning wheel that is it's creating energy that's keeping this Queen of Pentacles reversed out of this person's life. What we could interpret that in using words is this person has faith that the universe is going to keep gold diggers out of their life. The Queen of Pentacles reversed is usually somebody who's after somebody else's money. You know, they don't want to work, they're lazy, they're materialistic, and it would make a ton of sense for this person to have past experiences with people like this if they grew up with money. You know, if they've grown up and just been very, and it could even be, this might not be like this person always had money, but it could be that they've been very financially abundant for long enough that they've had experiences with people who only wanted them for their money. And they've been very financially abundant for long enough to have realized that money, again, it makes life very convenient, but it's not going to solve your emotional problems. You know, that's work you got to do on your own, right? And there could be another message here, like both in addition, because the Wheel of Fortune does talk about divine timing, right? But it also talks about the wheel never stops turning. It is continuously moving through cycles. Life goes in cycles. You know, this card is associated with good fortune. Usually when it comes up upright, it is talking about good fortune. And, you know, if part of this person's good fortune is that, you know, divine timing and spirit is keeping these reverse Queen of Pentacles out of this person's life, that is largely a positive thing. However, this could also be saying this person is so concerned about people who are after them for their money that they're willing to move on to the next thing rather than taking a hard look, like taking a deeper dive into somebody's motivations. And that could have been what happened here, especially because, again, this is coming from their higher self. They might not even be like consciously aware, but I think they see you being represented here on this Four of Pentacles. And so this is telling me they understand, or they understood at the time, or part of them understood at the time, that you were not this Queen of Pentacles in reverse. But they might have gotten so used to just moving on that they were not going to take a deeper look. They were not, this could even be saying they didn't want to change their perspective about who you actually are. Or they didn't want to stop and see things from your perspective. They wanted to assume you were this person and just keep moving forward. Now, the Four of Pentacles talks to me about somebody who has worked very hard for what they have. You know, this is giving me the vibe, especially if we're interpreting what I have intuited from this side. This is giving me the vibe that you might not have grown up with money. You might have been somebody who did have to worry about your next paycheck, how are you going to pay your bills, where's your next meal going to come from. There might have been financial insecurity. And, you know, Pentacles doesn't always talk about finances. I'm just really getting the sense here that money was something that was important in this connection. And I don't know that. Like, I don't want to say it's because, you know, both of you are like only focused on money, you know, like it's not that. I just think that there was a discrepancy and a miscommunication here. That's all I'm saying. There was like, it's a discrepancy of information, of clarity, of seeing eye to eye about something. So that's all I wanted to say about that. But the Four of Pentacles, like, this is telling me, if this is representing your energy here, this person knows you worked really hard for what you have, and you deserve to enjoy the things that you have earned. However, there's also a message with this card. Again, this is this person's perspective. There's a message with this card about stubbornly holding on to something that you've earned. And it's like, it's a neutral message. You did earn those Four Pentacles, they're yours. You have the right to enjoy them. But there can be a message about insecurity, because you might have had to work so hard for that stability, that financial stability, that you might be very worried that you were going to lose it at any second, or you might just be like really very, vigilant or aware of how and when and for what you are spending your money. Because that's something that, you know, that's a great quality to have, you know, to be financially literate and financially aware, and, you know, and to pay attention to your savings account and pay attention to where your money is going. That's fantastic. That's a great quality. However, I don't think that's something that this person has to think about. Like, their money is being managed. You know, this is talking to me about somebody who probably, you know, with the Ten of Pentacles, they probably have a financial advisor. They probably have, you know, again, like somebody else managing their money. You know, they don't have to worry about that. And that, again, it's just talking to me about there's something unbalanced here. And it could even be, I don't think the King of Cups is somebody who is so immature that they would build a resentment against somebody else for earning something that might have been handed to them. But those might be deep-seated feelings that this person has. And it's like they might just be now diving deeper into, okay, what are my feelings about this Four of Pentacles, about pile four? What are my feelings, you know, about pile four's relationship with money, and how it might have affected your connection with this person? And there could be a sense of again, like this, I'm getting a sense this person is acutely aware of their own privilege. There might be a sense of guilt even that this person has, that they were handed things in life and handed opportunities that other people didn't have, that they had a huge head start in life by just not having to work for money. And that could be, you know, again, I just take this interpretation, you know, however it applies to you. You know, again, this person, it could be somebody who did not grow up with money, but became so financially abundant in their lifetime that they don't have to worry about money anymore. You know, it could be a sense that they just don't want to ever have to think about it ever again because it's too stressful, you know, and they have the privilege of not having to worry about it. And then here you are, and you worked so hard for what you have. And you're like a self-made success. And there might be a little bit of envy there. So, I don't know. I'm just throwing that in there. You know, again, the King of Cups is probably somebody who's not necessarily that immature. But I just wanted to throw that in there. It might resonate for somebody. And then the fact that the Four of Pentacles is being clarified here by the Hanged One is interesting. Because the Hanged One, it can talk about surrendering to the divine. and letting go of control. Which is an interesting juxtaposition to what I said about the Four of Pentacles of wanting to hold on so tightly to those pentacles. This could be a message. If this person had something that they wanted to say to you at the time, but they might not have said, it could have been they wanted you to let go of holding on so tightly. And there could have been a situation where you might not have felt comfortable with this person spending money on you. And they might have felt very comfortable kind of, buying you gifts or offering to pay for things or offering to cover your bills or your rent or whatever. And that might have made you feel really uncomfortable because you might have been like, no, I'm supporting myself. I made this money, I'm paying my own rent. That's what makes me feel comfortable and secure and stable. And this person might have wanted you to let go of that control a little bit. And that's something that they might not have communicated with you at that time, or they might not have known how. Because again, I'm getting the sense that like this person didn't want to say something that was going to make them look like a jerk, or look like, I just getting the sense like they didn't want to like expose their level of privilege and put it that way. Like and they also didn't want to make you feel bad or small or, you know what I mean? Like they didn't want, not that you would have felt that way, but they might have been like projecting that onto you. Again, I'm just getting a sense they didn't know how to talk to you about this kind of stuff. But there is a recognition here that this person knows, and they knew at the time, that this is not your energy. You are not a Queen of Pentacles reversed. That's not you. This might be other people in this person's life that have caused them to be in an energy where they feel like they need to kind of like move on from things. If anything comes at them with this energy, that they're like, no, if you want my money, it's like, get out of here. I'm not interested in that. But there could be, like, there is a message here. This person knows that you are not like that. And they knew that at the time when this was happening. So I wanted to say that. And there could be, this person might also have fully been aware that you have some soul level connection. This is not a karmic, like, again, I'm saying these people might be karmic connections for this person that might be part of their past. Wheel of Fortune here saying this is more of a soul level connection than a karmic connection. And this person was aware of that when it was happening. And then we have, this again is an interesting message. We have the Four of Swords reversed, which has multiple different interpretations. I wasn't quite sure how to interpret it. I'm going to give all my interpretations and then we'll get like, I guess you can kind of decide for yourself which one resonates the most. Or it could be, that some are true for certain people and others not. But I'll give all my interpretations. And then we have the Death card here, which again is just an interesting thing because we have the 12 on the Hanged One and then 13 on Death. And these are very different energies. The big message of, I do think this is the person's coming through saying they wanted you to surrender, surrender your control of your pentacles because it was causing some issue. But another message of this is that sometimes the best thing to do is nothing. Sometimes you're being asked to stay where you are so that you can gain a different perspective on something. And like surrender, there's another surrender to the divine kind of message, divine timing, something's happening here. And then the energy of Death is about forward momentum, it's about change. So there's like again, the juxtaposition here. We have this 9, that 9, this 4, that 4. We have these king and a queen, and they're reversed, they're juxtaposed. Right? So, and then we have these two kind of opposite energies. So it's just, again, it's giving me that sense of like just not being on the same page. Or just not being on the same page at the same time. But the energy of the Four of Swords, one of the interpretations of this card reverse is when we have given ourselves time to rest and recover from something, and we're ready to move forward. And that would make sense being clarified by Death because it's like I'm ready to make a change. And this could be if this was something that this person wanted to tell you at the time, but they didn't. Could have been that they were ready and willing to make some sort of change, but that for some reason, for whatever reason, they did not communicate that at the time. And it could have been because maybe you had decided to walk away at that point. And they might not have wanted to chase after you for whatever reason. You know, again, there's not a ton of context about what exactly happened when it ended, you know, but you know, that's one of the interpretations of this card when it's reversed. And then another interpretation is when we've been resting for so long that it's become detrimental. Because the Four of Swords upright is about rest and recovery and recuperation, right? So when it's reversed, you can talk about like we've taken enough time, you know, we've rested for enough time, and maybe become a little bit complacent. And the fact that it's being clarified by death, if that is the interpretation here, could be that this person was feeling very rusty when it came to having a real connection with somebody that they connected with on a soul level, and again, they might have not known how to handle it in the moment. However, it has led to important changes. And that's another reason why I'm giving this Wheel of Fortune, like there's an element of destiny here. The two of you were meant to come together to have a reaction to each other. And it could have been because this person was becoming very stagnant or stuck, or might have been like, everybody I meet is a Queen of Pentacles in reverse. I'm never going to find what I'm looking for here in the Nine of Cups. And then they met you, and then there was some issue that happened, but it shocked this person out of their Four of Swords reversed, and that's ultimately a positive message. And then the last interpretation that I'm going to give for this card when it turns up reversed is refusing to rest to the point where we are running ourselves into the ground. It's like running on empty. It's if that's an interpretation that's resonating, what I'm seeing is, I think it's interesting, you know, this person, if they leave this bed, they are going to fall down on these swords. They're going to fall right down on those swords, and end up very hurt. This could be a message. This person might be aware that they need to change their behavior in some way. They need to change maybe how they approach relationships, how they view people in their lives who are coming towards them. They might need to change their perspective on your energy or whatever happened here, and they might be stubbornly refusing to do that. They might be stubbornly refusing to slow down. You know, the wheel never stops turning, right? They might be just going through cycle, relationship, trying to find this Nine of Cups when every bone in their body knows, like, let's just stop. Just take a second and really evaluate what is actually happening here. And this might be a message. They did not give themselves time to think through the best way to approach this situation, and they might have just decided to move on. And if this is the case, if the case is that this was not a mutual decision, or you were not the one who decided to walk away, if this was the case where they just decided to walk away from you, possibly with no explanation, I do think a King of Cups upright, again, this is this person's interpretation of their own energy, but you know, I think they would give you some degree of closure. They would have told you at the very least that they were planning to end the relationship. They might not have given a reason, or given like an honest reason if they were trying to spare your feelings, but it might, you know, there might have been the case where this person is saying, like, I always felt like I had to keep moving forward to the point of exhaustion, and that is something I'm learning to change because of our connection. It could be saying, the other thing is, this might be the type of connection, sorry, this is something coming through, this might be the type of connection where there might not have been a clear ending to this connection. It could be on again, off again. It could be that you're on a break. That could be another message of the Four of Swords reversed. And if that is something, then this person might be taking the opportunity to say right now, the break is ending, I'm changing. This could be a message about, like a message for you about where they are right now. Again, I'm not necessarily getting the sense that this connection is over for good. I'm not necessarily getting the sense that it happened a long time ago, although, you know, it might have. And it could be that you have no intention of getting involved with this person again, and that's totally up to you. That's perfectly valid. But it's just, again, like this person, their energy is coming through as like something is incomplete here. And speaking of incomplete, I totally forgot about talking about the other clarifier that I had for the Four of Pentacles. So they really wanted the Hanged Man to come out, but we also have the Three of Cups as a clarifier for the Four of Pentacles. That was the card that kept wanting to come out for this, and I kept asking about it, and this person kept saying, no, it's not the right card. But the interjection of a Three of Cups here might be saying you might have mutual friends, or you might have friends that are around you that are very supportive. You might have had friends who really supported this connection. Then it could have even been their friends, and they might have been trying to insert themselves, or trying to, like, not in a malicious way. They might just have been trying to help the two of you move past whatever was standing in the way of this connection. They might have really been trying to help, because this is like a supportive energy. This is like, we really celebrate and love this connection between the two. We recognize this is a soul level thing. It could be really deep and meaningful for the two of you. We want to help this work out, and it could be that the both of you have taken time to confide in your various support systems, friends groups, whatever. And that might be another thing that the two of you have in common, is that you have a supportive friend group who wants to help you with this connection. If that's resonating for you, another message of this could be you've worked hard, you've really earned your financial stability. Those Four Pentacles that you have being represented there. And one of your priorities, the things you want to spend your own money on, it's your money. You could do whatever the heck you want with it. Might be celebrating, going out with friends, having fun time. That might be something that's very important to you. That's like one of your core values, and that could be something that this person really struggled to understand. So again, I just want to I wanted to say, like, there's a lot of messages in today's reading about money, and about an imbalance here. And again, it's like an energy where it's just, I don't know that anybody was really in the wrong here. It was just that something was out of sync. And that's not saying that it couldn't get back into sync. It's just saying, I think if they had something that they wanted to communicate at the time, it was this is their understanding of what happened between the two of you. So I wanted to say that. And then now I am going to get into channel messages. And so it's like, this is stuff that they wanted to communicate at the time, but they might not have known how to do that, or thought they might have just been moving on. They might have been in that Four of Swords reverse, which is like, I have to keep moving forward, without stopping to give themselves time to really evaluate what happened here, whatever it is. But we're going to get some channeled messages that's going to be maybe some information about how this person is currently feeling. So let's get into that. We have for pile 4. Okay. I have been thinking about you a lot, which I could understand. Again, it feels like there's like unfinished business here, so it would make a lot of sense this person's thinking about you. You fuel my creativity. That's very interesting. I was picking up on that creative energy of maybe somebody who is a musician or an artist or is used to expressing themselves through symbolism. And again, it's like could be that they might be a songwriter or a musician, and then they might have written songs about you, or express their feelings that way. You found out something about me. That is interesting. I wonder what that is referring to. It could be that this is information that you know about, or actually something that just came to me that it might resonate for you. It might not. Just take it out if it resonates. There might have been a third party situation. I don't know 100%. I don't know 100%. It could be that the two of you decided to cool off your relationship for a bit and put it on the back burner, put brakes on it, and then they might have gone out and been with somebody else during that time. You might have found out about it, and you might have decided to walk away from the connection because it might have been painful. But only take that if it resonates, because again, this Three of Cups kept wanting to insert itself into this reading, and this person did not want it to show up. So that could be a possible interpretation, or it could just be that you've been kind of checking on how this person is doing, and their higher self is aware of that. So I wanted to say that. Something else that just came to me, sorry, I'm just getting an intuitive message. This person might also not have told you that they come from money. That might have been something that was revealed like later in your connection. That might have felt like a bit of a betrayal at the time. It might have been like, why did you never tell me? Like, why did you, it could have been that they let you pay for things, or they let, there could have been in some situation like that where it felt like they were hiding it from you. So just take that however it resonates. And if that's the case, then I would say it's because this person probably felt insecure about having money, which is, it's an interesting thing to feel insecure about, but I was getting that sense. Oh, again, another connection to music. Every song reminds me of you. I am getting the sense this person's very into music, whether they create their own music or not. With I Am Still Healing, again, getting the sense that, it could be related to this Four of Swords reverse. Like, this connection doesn't feel over. It doesn't feel finished. And certainly not to this person, even if it's over for you and you don't want them back. So again, that's perfectly valid. Just take whatever resonates. But I think this person does feel like they're still healing, they're still processing, and they're doing probably an emotional deep dive about what happened between the two of you. I never met anyone like you before. Again, that's kind of harkening back to this person is used to being around reverse Queen of Pentacles people. And it's not always, I was going to say it's not always women, but it's not always people of the gender that this person is attracted to. Like, it's not always romantic connections. This person might have a lot of people in their life who are coming after their money. And it might be hard for them to discern the people who have true intentions from people who don't. But what they're saying is they know you're not like that. They know that you're not like that because they see your soul. They know you on a deeper level. Ooh, this one. Ooh, I felt that in my heart. It says, I'm depressed. This person might be struggling with their feelings, and that could be another reason why we have this Four of Swords reversed here. It's like this person's not recovering. They're not giving themselves the recovery time they need, possibly because of depression, or it could be, if it was the interpretation where, this person has been resting for so long, that they've become stuck or stagnant. It could be because they are feeling depressed over what happened between the two of you. Again, I want to say this, dealing with their emotions is their responsibility. It is not on you. It is never anybody's responsibility to heal someone else's depression. Okay, so I feel like I have to give that disclaimer. And this person coming through saying I'm depressed, they're not saying that to make you feel guilty. You don't need to go running back to this person to try to heal their broken heart. Okay, again, like that's just it's a disclaimer from me because I used to be like that. I used to be somebody who was very easily manipulated, but I don't think this person is trying to manipulate you. I just think they're trying to communicate. Their emotions ran deep. It's like still waters run deep. They had strong feelings for you, and they might also feel depressed because they might not see how to make this connection work. Just one more, please. Okay. Again, this happened with the tarot cards. They're giving me half the deck. This person has a lot they want to say. I think they might struggle face to face with getting the right words out in the right way. Like this person they know their feelings, but they might not really understand how to communicate, or they might think that they don't. Yeah, we have so much in common. Again, I was getting the sense that like there's a mirrored energy here. Like this person sees your soul and they see a reflection of their own soul. And whatever happened between the two of you, it's like it's surface level. But it might have been very important for you to see eye to eye about that one thing. So it was just like, for them, they might be confused about it. Because it's like, for them, it might be like, we have such a soul deep connection. Why is this thing about money that like doesn't really matter to me, why did it blow up into this big thing? If that's resonating for you, if that is what happened here. So either way, they recognize that the two of you have a lot in common, and that's something that I think that they think about you a lot because of that. They might feel like they kind of lost a connection with someone who was singing in the same key as them. So those are the messages that I have for you today, pile 4. If you liked the video, please feel free to give it a like. Please comment down below, let me know how it resonated for you. And if you like my videos and you want to see more from me, you can feel free to subscribe to my channel. And with that said, thank you very much for watching pile 4, and I do hope to see you in my next video.